Good afternoon, members. Thank you so much for those who have joined online, and we will still expect some more. We have a couple of board members here present with us and the staff, plus our facilitator. So for now, what I would like to ask is that we start with a word of prayer. We will be led by Patricia Mutunga, the chairperson of the supervisory committee. So I'd like to just invite Patricia to come and start us off with a word of prayer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Members are present and those joining online, thank you for being here. Let's pray. Our Father and our God, we come before you this afternoon. We want to thank you because, Father Lord, you're good. You've taken care of us since we last met, Father Lord, which was during the last AGM. And Father, today you've given us another opportunity, Father Lord, just to learn and understand more matters about our beloved Sacco, Father Lord. And so we pray as we start that you'd go before us, that you'll walk with us. We want to commit all the facilitators and all who will take this mic, Father Lord, to talk about Sacco or whatever matter they'll be presenting, that you'll be with them. Give them clarity of thought, of mind, Father Lord, and may we all benefit at the end of it all. Father Lord, we pray that you'll give us listening hearts, Father Lord, and Father Lord, at the end of the day, that we'll live better than we came. So we commit all this in your mighty hands, Father Lord. For it is in Jesus' name that we pray and believe. Amen. All right, so members, I would like to take this opportunity also just before I sit to introduce myself. As correctly said, my name is Patricia Mutunga. I chair the supervisory committee. The rest of the members, that is Elijah Ngugi and Irene, are joining online. Karibuni.
Thank you, Patricia. I would like to invite the other board members to kindly come and introduce themselves, and then followed shortly by James and the staff.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Remik Muga. I chair Credit and Risk. I'm also a member in Finance Committee. Thank you and karibuni.
Good afternoon, members, those attending virtually and those physically. My name is Frederick Nambuya. I am a member of the Education Committee. Thank you and welcome.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Florence Ombewa. I'm a member of the Finance and Admin Committee. Welcome to our Education Day. Thank you.
James and the staff will be next to come and introduce themselves. We have new members who might not have met some of the staff members. That's why we do this, so that you members can be familiar with who we are and who is behind the scenes. So is Jacinta somewhere close? All right, James.
Good afternoon, members. My name is James Odera, CEO of the Sacco. Karibuni sana.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Malcolm Ouma, Credit Manager.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Rapella Thomas, ICT Officer.
Good afternoon, members. My name is Elizabeth Budhia, the Senior Accountant.
Karibu sana, and thank you once again, members. We have a program that we will be following. Shortly, I will introduce our chairperson, Mr. Duke Mayaka, to come and give his introductory speech. And then we will continue with the program. We thank you for joining once again online. This is the first time we are having any members meeting online. And so please bear with us if there are any challenges, but I believe that everything will go well. Thank you. So right now, without any further ado, I would like to welcome our chairperson, Duke Mayaka. And before he comes, I've been speaking, but maybe you don't know who I am. My name is Janet Rubadiri. I'm the vice chair of the Sacco. I didn't introduce myself, excuse me. So I would like to introduce our chair, Duke Mayaka, who's guiding the board very, very well. I think he will tell you where we are. So Duke, kindly go, take it away.
Thank you very much, Janet, my able vice chair of the Sacco. And what she did not mention is that she is also the chairperson of the education and business development in our Sacco. So she's leading us today in today's event. So as Janet, you've indicated, my name's Duke Mayaka, the chairperson of the Sacco. So members and all that are participating in this meeting today, I take this opportunity to welcome you. So here are the chairperson's opening remarks on the occasion of the Concorde Regulated and Withdrawable Deposit Taking Sacco Society Limited Education Day held today on this Saturday, 3rd August 2024 at the Centenary House, Ring Road, Kileleshwa. The Dagoretti Sub-County Cooperative Officer, Mr. Njoroge Mwangi, our chief guest and presenter of the day, Mr. Timothy Muraguri, fellow members and staff. It is my pleasure to extend to you all, on behalf of the Board of Directors, our most sincere gratitude for creating time from your very busy schedules to join us online for this very important event in our calendar. Today's Education Day is unique in two ways. It is the first time that we are holding this event virtually, and it includes the first ever pre-cooperative meeting in the lifetime of our Sacco. The concept of virtual meetings was widely embraced during the COVID-19 pandemic and has become the new normal for many entities across the globe. We know that many could have liked to be in attendance physically, but we as a board resolved to try a virtual meeting, this time in an effort to tap in the advantages that come along with it. The purpose of the pre-cooperative meeting is to pave way for the registration of a housing society, which many of you members have been asking for. It is a legal requirement that such a meeting is held prior to registration. I could like to appreciate the support from so far received from the Ministry of Cooperatives through the Sacco for Dagoretti, from the SCCO for Dagoretti County, Mr. Mwangi Njoroge. Mr. Njoroge will in a short while from now preside over the pre-cooperative meeting, and we've changed the program a little bit. We'll have our present of the day preside first, and then we'll do this activity later on. I could like to remind you that we are still regulated by the Sacco Societies Regulatory Authority, SASRA, and as such, all activities are carried out in accordance with the relevant laws and regulatory requirements. Dear members, I encourage you to make this a very interactive session by engaging freely and learn as much as possible about the possible and your Sacco in particular. Without further ado, I now take this opportunity to declare this year's Education Day officially open. And thank you very much, members. And we have got the chat box, as I've indicated earlier on, the chairperson of the Education and Business Development Committee of our Sacco, Janet, will give you details on how you can interact with us virtually through the chat box, and we'll take your questions and give you answers where we can later on. So thank you very much, members. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Duke. Members, we have, since we're online, there's a chat whereby you can post your questions. You can write any comments that you would like us to know and have. I would like to ask that if there's any repeated comment, that you don't repeat the same. If you see something with the same issue or around the same issue, just put in a question in the chat if you would like to ask a question or if you'd like to have that answered at the end of this session. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and esteemed members of Concorde Sacco, good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Directors and staff of Concorde Regulated Non-Withdrawal Deposit Taking Sacco Society, I welcome you all to the 2024 Education Day. Today, I stand before you, humbled and excited to share this momentous occasion with you. As we gather here to celebrate 45 incredible years of Concorde Sacco's journey, let us take a moment to reflect on the profound impact it has had on our lives. Throughout these 4.5 decades, Concorde Sacco has not only been a platform for savings, but also a catalyst for transforming the lives of our members. We have provided credit solutions that are interest-friendly, convenient, flexible, all enabling you to achieve your dreams. The Education Committee, it comprises of Mr. Fred Nambuya and Mrs. Jane Gugi, who's not present with us today, and myself. I head this committee. Our primary responsibility is to educate and inform you members on matters of importance to you as members of the Sacco. One of the values that we operate by is continuous improvement, and being guided by that, we have made positive product changes and improvement over the last 1 year as follows. Increase of loan multiplier from 4 times to 5 times of deposit, times 4 or times 5, if it's easier for you to understand. You can now access loans up to a maximum of 5 times of your deposits. For instance, a member who has deposits of 100,000 can access up to 500,000 in loans. This was as a result of our engagement with members, and somebody suggested the same at the AGM. We sat down as a board and we made this decision, and therefore your wishes are command. Extension of maximum loan term. In order to make loan installments lighter, we've extended the maximum loan repayment period from 72 months to 96 months for the long-term loans. We've also extended the repayment period for emergency loans from 12 months to 24 months. The enhanced signature loan. We have increased the maximum limit from 500,000 to 1 million shillings. This is a member's favorite and an easy access product since guarantorship is not pegged to free shares. The flash loan. We've increased the repayment period from 3 months to 4 months, allowing you the flexibility of spreading out your payments at an interest rate of 3% per month, excuse me. This being among the lowest in the market for mobile loans. The car loan. We've also raised the car loan limit from 3 million to 5 million, giving you the chance to drive away in the car of your dreams. Over the past year, we ran several promotions to boost our Sacco's membership. I am delighted to inform you that we have 1,467 active members as at 30th June 2024, up from 1,025 active members as at 30th June the same time last year. We extend our heartfelt thanks to everyone who mentioned Concorde to friends, family, and colleagues, and provided referrals that helped new members to join. You, our members, are an essential part of our Sacco's growth, and you should be proud of your contribution. As far as technology goes, at Concorde Sacco, we always strive to stay ahead with technology to provide you, our valued members, with the most effective and efficient services. That is why we are thrilled to announce that we are currently developing our very own mobile app. Here's a sneak peek at what you can expect. Balance inquiry. You'll be able to check your current balances in share capital, e-wallet, and deposit accounts, as well as outstanding loan balances. Cash withdrawal. It will enable you to easily withdraw funds from your e-wallet account, either to yourself or to a third party. Member deposits. You can deposit funds directly from your M-Pesa account to your e-wallet, or from your e-wallet to your member deposits, junior accounts, or any other savings scheme. On loan repayment, you'll be able to repay loans using funds from your e-wallet or M-Pesa account. On the loan calculator, this is whereby you can find out how much you will be paying in interest and what you're eligible for. You'll be able to calculate loan amounts and repayment details for mobile loans. Loan requests. You can initiate loan requests for mobile loans directly through this app. Mini statement request. You can obtain mini statements to review current transactions and account activities. Change of your PIN. You can enhance your security by changing your PIN anytime. This app is set to launch at the beginning of September this year, so stay tuned and get ready for a new level of convenience. Our corporate social responsibility, in other words, CSR. At Concorde Sacco, we recognize our responsibility to give back to society and strive to make it better. This is why we diligently organize our annual CSR activities. We want to express our heartfelt thanks to our members for agreeing to increase the contribution at the last AGM from 50 shillings to 100 for our CSR initiative. This will go a long way towards this activity. As always, our CSR event will take place in September this year, and we welcome your participation and suggestions on where to channel the funds. Your support makes all the difference, and we are grateful for your continued commitment. Last year, we visited Meta Children's Home and donated utilities worth 79,808 Kenya shillings. This was made possible by your unwavering support. And I would like to add that some of you members also gave of your own accord, your clothes, your shoes, and other items so that we could be able to extend this to this home. We want to extend our heartfelt thanks for your ongoing dedication to these activities. Your generosity makes a significant difference, and we deeply appreciate all that you do. On loan repayment and default, our country is facing very difficult times, with the cost of living being very high. But despite these circumstances, most of you have diligently continued to repay your loans on time. I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to each one of you for doing this. Your commitment and responsibility to repay are the pillars of our success. This has seen our default figures drastically reduce from 132 million at the beginning of 2023 to the current 97 million as of June this year. This is a significant drop in the defaults, and we thank you so much. Although we still have a long way to go, we are confident that this default figure will further reduce by the end of 2024. A housing society. Members, this is great news. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this day. The Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs has authorized us to start a housing society. To this end, the Sub-County Cooperative Officer, SCCO, for Dagoretti, Mr. Joroge Mwangi, will guide us through the pre-cooperative meeting, which is a precursor to registering a housing society. Yes, it calls for an applaud. Thank you, members. We sincerely thank the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs for walking with us in this journey. Once registered, I urge you members to join the Housing Society in large numbers so that we can realize our dreams of owning homes and land and many other things. Thank you. In conclusion, I want to acknowledge true heroes in this room. You, our beloved members. Without your trust, support, and loyalty, we would not be celebrating the remarkable milestone we have seen over the past year. As we move forward, let us continue changing lives through our unwavering commitment to become a world-class financial solutions provider, empowering each one of you to achieve your financial dreams. Thank you. My name is Jeanette Rubadiri, the Vice Chair and the Chairperson of the Education and Business Development Committee. I thank you. So next, we will jump right into the main meat. Mr. Joroge is not yet here, yeah? All right. So as we wait for our cooperative head, we shall invite Mr. Timothy Moragori. Are you ready for us? You're ready for us? Members, Timothy is engaging, he's educated, he's smart, he is funny, and we are just really excited to have him here. So we welcome Mr. Timothy Moragori to come and give us our talk for today. Karibu sana, karibu sana. Yes.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Vice. Thank you, Board and members. As the transfer is going on, my name is CPA Timothy Moragori. Delighted to be here. I'm a cooperator. Let me start there. I joined. Okay. Yeah, so I was saying, I joined the Sacco movement in the year 2000. So definitely, I don't think I qualify to be a Gen Z. I don't, eh? Yes, I'm a CPA. That means that I'm a public accountant. I've been in the Sacco as a staff. I've also been in the Sacco as a director. Until then, we formed a consulting group called Metrimax with my friend. We used to be in the same school together. So he'll introduce himself. So I'm very happy. And to take you back, I remember, even as the transfer is going on, I remember back in the year 2002, that was the first time I took my loan, 20,000 shillings. So what I did, I used to work in Westlands. So our Sacco was in a community. So I went all the way to community. The money was counted. There was no mobile money and all that. They gave me the cash, okay? They told me confirm the cash. I did not have the time because I had not, held such an amount. So when I was going back to work, I actually, used the middle of the road. Where you have the division between the two roads. I was very nervous. Sometimes you ask why mtu anajuaje unapigwa ngeta kwa nini? How did they know I have money? But the reason is because you are very nervous before you. When you're having that money, you're always having, looking at the back, something is, someone is following you. I reached my workplace, nikaeka hiyo pesa kwa drawer. Still, I was still very nervous, 20,000. Because when I left for home, nilichukua 1,000 peke yake. Ile ya kujirudishia mkono. At night, I would wake up, imagining na kukichomeka ile 20 itaenda wapi. That is bad, eh? Oh, I'm good, eh? Yeah. So that is really the story of my journey. But I must confess, without the Sacco, I would not be where I am. Let me just be honest with you. I would not have bought any property that I have. I would not have even educated my children. The Sacco is the way to go. And I must commend the board. I've had two very important progressions that you have made. Number one, the mobile app, okay, which is very important because at the comfort of your, where you are, you can actually be able to transact with the Sacco. That is a plus. And the housing cooperative. I confess that I'm also a member of housing cooperative. One of the advantages of a housing is that full due diligence is made by the Sacco. So you as a member, you will not have any doubt to buy such a land or such a property because due diligence has been done. And of course, you're given the property at an affordable, rate. So congratulations to that. So my presentation starts with the savings. Let me start with this. Concorde Sacco. Okay, let me try again. Concorde Sacco. Thank you. I mean, we must own it, isn't it? So Concorde Sacco, changing lives. Thank you very much. Savings. I will be very practical. I will not talk as an expert. Thank you, madam, for saying that I'm an expert and all those things. I will talk as a cooperator. My friend will talk as an expert. I will talk as a cooperator. Are we in agreement? Yes. So I look at the definition of savings and they say that savings is the amount of money left over after spending and other obligations are deducted. Who agrees with that? We all agree. That is the definition. That is from Google and it's from the dictionary. Do you all agree that? We do, isn't it? And therein lies the problem. Yes, in my own theory, that is the problem. You can see the picture of a lion there. You've heard the phrase, the lion's share. When you look at the National Geographic sometimes and you find these animals, especially the lion when it's hunting, once, the prey is there, the lion itself starts eating. The lioness and the children and the cubs will eat after the lion has eaten. It may look like it's very selfish sometimes, but that is what happens. Now, I want you to imagine the prey is your payslip. The prey is your payslip. So you are the lion, but you don't want to start eating. Who starts eating? The government. Isn't it? Who else starts eating your payslip? Family, children, etc. Everybody else eats, even God. Are we together? If you are a believer, you do the 10%. So even God eats that payslip. Why don't you be the first to eat your own payslip? How do you eat your payslip? Sile ya kujirudishia mkono. We have that thing ya kujirudishia mkono ati baadaye jioni. Some people say, naenda kupanguza the dust. No. Eating fast means saving fast. Of course, you'll ask, my net is not, available for saving. That is a problem. Where did your net, deplete? Why did your net deplete? Because you took an advance, isn't it? There must be something you did. Why don't you first save? Then all the rest will follow. I congratulate you again. I saw that last year you moved from, I think, a minimum of 2,500 to 3,000. Not yet. Oh, it was a proposal. Okay, still a good proposal. Again, the circles that I have been, I must confess again, we stopped talking about minimum contributions. I know it's a model of the Sacco, but we stopped talking about it. Why? Because when I was in the Sacco movement as a staff, we used to go and market. And you target the OCBs, that is outside common bond, isn't it? Now, those people don't have pay slips. So we got some, there's a lady I remember up to today. She has a hotel around Ngara. So what she used to do, every day, she used to save 1,000 shillings, every day, without fail. How much is that at the end of the month? 30,000. I don't know, I've never known. I think this is something that we can discuss. I don't know what it is with the minimum contribution, because you find that once you tell a person with a payslip, a check-off person, that our minimum is 2,500. A person with a salary of 10,000 and a CEO with a salary of 250,000, what watatoa ngapi? Let's be honest. Watatoa 2.5. I'm urging you members, online na hapa. Even as we talk about minimum contribution, let us remember that this is our savings we are talking about. Once that app is there, you know, when you are here on a weekend, you are resting, you are relaxing. If you have a lose 500, put it. If you have a lose 1,000, put it there. And I'll give you an illustration. Let me give you an illustration here. If you join the Sacco movement, if you join the, oh, it's not, eh? Okay. Okay, maybe I can just, So what I'm saying, if you join the Sacco, maybe you're employed at around 25 years, okay? Then 5 years fooling around here and there, seme sasa nataka kujoin Sacco. So you join the Sacco and you are 30 years. It's an exam. Okay, I can still, it's okay. You join the Sacco at 30 years. And you, what is the retirement age in Kenya? What is the retirement age? 60. So you join the Sacco and you are contributing minimum of 2,500. So 2.5 times 12 in a year, how much is that? 30,000. So by the time you are retiring at 60, you will not have been a millionaire. You will not have reached 1 million shillings. You will be at 900,000. And they're asking you, umekuwa ukisevi miaka yote, what happened? That thing of minimum contribution, for sure, you'll be at 900,000. And that is why I must, you know, that's why I was congratulating, because I thought we went that way, but I would urge the members, even after today, just do a variation. Think about yourself. Practically, that's why I said not an expert, just practical things. You know, variate it yourself. You don't need to be told by the board. So that if you're saying, let me be doing 5,000, let me do 10,000. Be the first to eat your own pay slip, your own pay. Usingoja wa wengine, because watakula tu. By the way, hata kama 2024 finance bill ingepita, those taxes, you still have paid them. Isn't it? Yeah, of course, if it passes, you will pay them. And that is the same pay slip you're saying, I can't get any more from there. Is not true, isn't it? So I think that is very important to say. Okay, so for the Sacco, what does more contribution mean to the Sacco? I saw that in your books, you actually have done very well, even after COVID. But I must confess that SASRA, you know, they give you the red alerts, and they tell you that there are some ratios that you need to meet. And I saw that the disclosed and retained earnings to core capital, you're almost there. Supposed to be at 50%. And more deposits will actually mean that you go towards attaining that ratio. Remember, and I want you to remember this. And SASRA is coming out, very seriously about it. If you are given a warning 3 times, they merge you with another Sacco. That's what they are doing. I'm not here to scare you, but I'm here to just tell you the truth. Because Tunaambiana ukweli. You are just a bit mkombebaki kidogo mfike hapo. Of course, no Sacco wants to be merged with the other, because then the core values, and all those other things. So just remember that. I wanted to show the advantage of compounding IT. I think we may still need to transfer the Excel. So that, we are actually compliant with SASRA. We also compliant with ourselves, isn't it? Okay. So as we continue, I wanted to show you something also on savings. So if it is showing now, so that was the calculation I was showing you. You can see that in 30 years, we'll be at 900,000. However, there's another way that we normally look at it. We are assuming that you are now saving 5,000, that this gospel now, you have it, and you actually now, you like it, and you see that I need to be my own person, I need to save for my own self. I want you to look at that scenario, that if you are saving 5,000, okay, is it showing? If you're saving 5,000 per year, you will have saved 60,000. Okay? Then the 60,000, assuming Concorde Sacco are very generous and continue giving you the 6%. Of course, this is an illustration because I know with time the interest will go up, isn't it? Because interest, by the way, interest is given according to the performance of the Sacco at that particular time. So members, that is something that we must know. You don't just give interest. You look at the performance of and I really thank the board, what you're saying, that the loan provisioning has gone down. That means in the future, you may not then need to put that figure in the P&L, okay? So, of course, because when you put it in the P&L, it reduces the returns to members. So, of course, I would urge people to continue paying. So, if they give you 6%, okay, you had 60,000, you are given a dividend of 6%, which is 3,600, and you say, I do not want the 3,600 in my pocket. I want you to plow it back to my deposits. Okay? So they'll say, okay, sawa. So your total deposits in the Sacco that first year will be 63,600. I want you to see this trick. If for the second year you still say that and they continuously give you 6%, which of course is not the case, at the end of the 30 years we were talking about, you'd be at 5 million. You'd be at 5 million. Are you a millionaire or not? 5 times over, isn't it? If you did not plow back, right? And they still, so you are given 3,600. How long would it last? For example, if you give me 3,600 today, 5 minutes. Thank you. I think that's good enough. Yeah. Or even less, eh? So you eat that. So at the end of the 30 years, you are not plowing back. I want you to see the difference. You would be at 1.8. The other one was 5.7. Okay. And this is 1.8, almost 4 times, 5 million to 1.8. If you don't plow back, 30 years, you'll be at 1.8. Yeah? It's never too late. It's never. Now, sometimes I know the board goes a long way trying to say plow back and wanataka pesa yetu ya nini. This is your money. One of the things that SASRA is key about is withdrawals. They give the Sacco a maximum of 60. So within 60 days, you should have been paid your money. So you can't say ati wanataka pesa yangu ya nini. This is still your money. But you can imagine if you plow back, that is how much we are looking at. I remember I was, I think like three weeks ago, we had a seminar at our church. Of course, I go to ACK. So I'm also a believer. And we were given the pastor, the facilitator who was preaching that day, was saying that they do these things called, they're called what? They go around, you know, they go around hospitals and all those things. Yes, they go to actually visit those people to preach to them. He went into a hospital. And he went on the side of the men's ward. And he was devastated with what he saw. He actually saw an old guy, you know, with a very tired Sacco t-shirt. Let me just say Sacco t-shirt, because that's the first thing we give out, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know, let's say a Sacco t-shirt. Then there's a leftover food, you know, some leftover food. The guy is a bit unkempt, okay? And that is an old man. He happened also to go to the side of the ladies. So on the table where he had seen, you know, some leftover food and all that, he first sees an apple, you know, half bitten, just you know, a bit. There's a Ribena packet, okay? There's food. The lady there is, you know, well kept, you know, makeup and all that. And that is the journey of men. That is where we are. It is a very sorry state. But I want you to imagine this. If the 5 million, if you have these 5 million when you retire and you say, I don't even want to take that money, because once I take that money, probably one and a half years, isn't it? But if I leave it to the Sacco and they give me a 10% interest, how much am I going to get in January? Okay, almost $1 million. Now, since I have my mobile app, okay, I'm just going to, you know, I'm just going to put the money into my M-Pesa, isn't it? E-wallet. Are we together? Now, that man or lady for that purpose, I may pay 1 million. A good medical, you know, a good medical for 1 year is around 50,000. So comfortably pay 50,000 from 1 million, isn't it? Then pale, kazi yake ni kusoma gazeti na kuangalia, you know, then people are wondering, where is this guy getting all this money? But it is the Sacco funds that are facilitating that. Now, of course, if the spouse ataitwa na watoto, kwa sababu mama, hata mimi mama yangu si anakuja kwangu na tunakaa naye for a long time, na simulizi baba ako aje kule nyumbani. But when she imagines that, you know, the guy haitishangi kitu, ako sawa, hapakosi kitu pale hivi ka mixed pill, jamaa ako sawa, do you think she'll go to Nairobi for 2 weeks? She can't. Eh? That someone else will come and eat it, you see? That is the power of savings. Sometimes, you know, because we are told that Saccos, it's where poor people come together to empower themselves economically, is like a brainwash. It's not. It's not that, you know, that we are so, you know, so low, so poor. It's not. It is a formula to get rich. This money is, your money is working for you even as you sleep. So I urge you, members. I didn't know it was a proposal. I thought it was something that I would even urge the members, take it up to around 5,000. Yes, because it is still your money. So, of course, that is about the savings. I want to talk about savings because that is the key. The definition of a Sacco is savings and credit, isn't it? Credit is loan. Now, again, if I talk about loan, why would you be taking a loan? Of course, this one, everybody has an answer. Si hiyo ni kitu nikaa tumemaliza. Everybody knows why we take loans. Okay, we also quite agreed. Okay, of course, we take loans because of time value of money, you know, like the properties and like the housing now you are in. They say, buy fast, okay? Buy now and yes, because the thing is this, I remember when I bought a small plot where I am, it went for 250,000. Right now, as we speak today, it is at 3 million, okay? Because land appreciates. Now assume I was saving the minimum. Okay, the 2.5. And I want now to buy now, and it is at 3 million. And the minimum 2.5, even in 30 years, is getting me to 900. Is it practical? It is not practical, isn't it? That is why we take loans. Of course, I normally say that sometimes members are very angry with the Sacco, extremely angry with the Sacco. All Saccos, not Concorde, all Saccos. Do you know why that is the case? You go take $1 million, okay? Probably use it the way you want to use it and doesn't help you so much. But that 1 million, if it is one of the main loans that you're paying for 96 months, na uliitumia vibaya, maybe from the 5th month, that money has depleted, isn't it? But the Sacco still requires you to pay. So every time you look at your payslip, you say, Concorde tena wamenikata. So you're angry for that period you're paying that loan. For the simple reason that probably maybe you did not use that loan the way it's supposed to be used. Of course, members, we urge you that when you take loans, you must know why you're taking that loan. Have a purpose first before taking the loan. Don't take the loan first. Alafu, nitafanya nini na hii loan by the way? No, that is not, okay? Because that is really what is making Sacco members very angry about it, okay? Number 2, on Sacco loans, they are free of charge. Sacco loans are free, and I'll demonstrate that. And that is why I tell, even when you're going for marketing, you tell them that you're giving free money. It's almost like free money. And if you look at it, if I was to illustrate, now, is it on the screen? It is, Not yet. It is, Yeah. So now look at it this way. I take a loan of $500,000, okay? I'm paying that loan, it's an emergency, so I'm paying it in 12 months, isn't it? So, and it is a reducing balance. So the monthly installments are 41,000 all the way for 12 months. The first interest payment is 5,000. Second one is 45.83. Third one is 41. That is at 1%. That is why we call it reducing balance, if you did not know. That the interest every month is on a reducing basis. So at the end of the year, the total interest that I have paid is 32,500. We are together. So that is how much I've given the Sacco to give me back again in terms of dividends. So member never loses. Now I want you to imagine the same deposit of 500,000, okay? Then you contribute 2,525. So at the end of the year, you have 530, okay? And you're given at 6%. Interest at 6%. How much will you be given? 31,800. How much did you pay? Is that free money? Isn't it? So mbona wewe unataka kwenda kuchukua kwa commercial bank? And I'm not saying you, even, some people have so many other mobile loans and all that, and they are quite dear. They are quite dear. If you look at Sacco loans, so long as you are given back your dividends, that is free money. That is money you're being told, enda ujijenge. So when I look at your loan portfolio, and I look at it because I looked at your books and I see that the loan portfolio is less than the deposits. Naona hapa kuna watu wachukui. I would encourage you to kuchukua loan. Chukueni loan, because sometimes you don't take the loan. At the end of the year, you still want dividends. Where are they coming from? Dividends come from income. Income is from loans, isn't it? So it is free money. And I have demonstrated that. And if you're in doubt, tunaweza kutana nyuma ya tent tuendelee na conversation, isn't it? So members, so number 3 and the last one on loans. I know all Saccos, and that this is where there's a difference between a bank and a Sacco. Sacco loans are insured. I know yours, Madam Vice, they're insured, isn't it? So this is a scenario. I have $1 million, right? I take 4 times. So that is 4 million, isn't it? 5 times. Tuweke na 5. Tuweke na 5. Tuweke na 5. I take 5 times, that is 5 million. So long as all the other parameters are there, it is secured, you have ability to pay ETC. Okay, so I take 5 million. So I go home and I tell, my spouse that, okay, we need to do this. So wacha tuweke 5 million, tuone itakuwa aje. From next month, we start the project, isn't it? Then, for some reason, nikiendea Thika Road, kwa sababu kuna car pande ya Thika Road, I get an accident. People don't talk about it. So whenever you're talking about death, and this is a trick, talk about yourself. Una assume mimi ndio nimeenda. Don't say ati na assume ni wewe. Why? So there's an accident na nimeitwa na baba. Sawa? Na si baba Raila. Nimeenda. Okay? Are we together? Now my wife amebaki na pesa ngapi pale? 500,000. We are together. Then the insurance, because there's a group life, probably my last expense atakuja apatio 100 ama 50. I don't know how much yours is. 50. Atakuja apeo 50 ya sanduku. But remember, hata hiyo 50 bado ni yake kwa sababu mwanamke ana hurumu yangu. So for some reason, atachangiwa na kanisa na nini. So atakaika 50 bado ni sawa tu. Iko pale. Are we together? Haya, tunaendelea tu. Then, once I'm laid to rest, si atakuja kwa sako? Deposit atarudishwa mara ngapi? Mara 2. Nilikuwa na milioni ngapi? 1. Pale tukaweka 5. So amepewa milioni nyingine 2 na kulikuwa na 50. Amebaki na ngapi? Milioni 7 na 50. Kama umetoka penye nimetoka 50 or 150. Yes, it's 150. Thank you for the correction. So kuna milioni 7 na 150. That is why nominee records are extremely secretive. They are extremely secretive because wangu akijua hivyo na namsumbuanga hapa kila siku. Sijui, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah? So my thing is this. You did not take a loan, so you deny yourself development. You did not take a loan, you deny the Sacco income. You also deny yourself returns because income equals to returns, isn't it? Then you did not take a Sacco and you have gone. Umemnyima 5 million. Angepata ya bure. That is why I say in a Sacco movement never die without a loan. That is very important. But of course, for any loan, you must know the purpose of that loan, isn't it? So nilimwambia mimi siongei kama expert, naongea mambo sasa hapa tu. Yeah? Okay. Lastly, I'll talk about guarantorship. Then I'll call him to talk about financial literacy. Now, this is another thorn in the flesh. Guarantorship. Sacco models, by the way, thrive on guarantorship. Hakuna model ingine. That is a Sacco model. And that is why it is easy to take a Sacco loan, because so long as you have a guarantor and they easily cover the exposure, so unapewa loan. Yes. So it is important to know a guarantor, the obligation and their rights. So a guarantor is an individual who promises to pay a borrower's debt in the event the borrower defaults on the obligation. You're telling the Sacco, please, do not do any other due diligence. Nani amekutuma? Mimi ndio nimeguarantee my brother here, unaitwa? Remik, Mr. Muga. Timothy nimeguarantee Muga. Mnashinda mkimuuliza nini? Mpatieni. That is what you're telling the Sacco. And again, you're telling the Sacco, in case Muga doesn't pay, munaenda wapi? Si niko hapa? Tunaulizana nini? So that is really what a guarantor is. Remember, in your form I saw that a guarantor signs a loan from guarantee form to guarantee agreement, which is a legally binding document. It says that we, the undersigned guarantors, hereby accept jointly and severally liability for the payment of the loan in the event the borrower is on default. Do we know what that means, members? That means jointly, kama ni 1,000,000 na tumegarantii watu 6, sisi wote 6 tunaweza that is called jointly. Severally means kama 5 pia wamekufa, Timothy peke yake ndio atali. Koti ikienda kuinterpretia wanakuambia, did you read the obligation? That is what it means. So it is very important for you Sacco members to avoid or to know who you are guaranteeing. Do not be a corridor guarantor. Labda mko kule kwa ndege, si members wengi ni wa ndege. Maybe you are late to board or something. So mtu anakuja na form hapo haraka haraka, na mwenye anakuja na form na loan anakuwa amepia na kalamu. Si tuanze kutafuta kalamu. Ukijaribu kujiexcuse ati we don't have a pen, anakuambia pana ndio hii kalamu. Then hawezi muuliza hata meza ya kusainia iko wapi, anageuka na akuwekea hapa kwa mgongo. Do not be a corridor guarantor. It is good to know who you are guaranteeing. Of course, we are saying that factors to consider while guaranteed. You must know the guarantor. Do you know the person you are loaning, who is taking the loan? Is the borrower able to pay? Sometimes you find. Sorry. Okay. So let me repeat that. Factors to consider while guaranteeing. Do you know the loanee? Okay, not the guarantor. Do you know that person you are guaranteeing? That is number one. That is what we are calling a corridor guarantor. Do not be. Is the borrower able to pay? And let me explain that one this way. You might be in the same department. Okay? Then one of your friends is always late for work. Always late. Si unaona kuna ka red light hapo. Na ameleta loan ya milioni 2. Na HR anashindanga hapo anasema, then you are guaranteeing. Unajua tuongea tu kweli hapa bwana. Unajua itakuwa ngumu. Then because akifutwa, what are you going to say? I mean, who are you going to blame? So it is good to know that. Are you also ready for the consequences? Sometimes nasema it's good to, if he defaults, Mr. Muga, it's okay. I know where to get him. Should I guarantee then? The answer is yes. Otherwise, mtafunga Sacco. Yeah. If you don't want to sign to guarantee somebody, Sacco itafungwa. Okay? So you must guarantee. But of course, what you're saying, the office also carries out its own due diligence, because they also look at the 5 C's of, loaning, character, capital, etc. So you can rest assured that the office has gone through that form. Na wakasema, Mr. Muga is eligible to get the loan. Of course, there is the ease of loaning. There is a deposit and salary, because remember, the first security for a loan are the deposits of the person who has taken that loan, isn't it? So again, there you have a bit of respite. Then you would also require a guarantor. You'll also require a guarantor. So if I deny to guarantee you today, nani atani guarantee kesho? Who will guarantee me? But you must know that wewe kama guarantor, hizi ndio rights zako na obligations zako, so that you're not blind. You don't dive in blind, because sometimes, by the way, why people guarantee, si ati urafiki sana. Ukiangalia mtu anataka milioni 2, bro, si utanitafutia ka 30,000, basi niko mbaya. Ikitoka si utanitafutia kata kani 30, nitakurudishi. Yeah, so sometimes that's why Saccos, by the way, starts collateral lending and all those. Because if you have a property, logbook and title, and you don't want to know kama ujulikane kama ulichukua loan, then you bring all these other collaterals, because sometimes guarantors wanasumbua. Wanataka uchukue loan na uagawie kidogo, na you knew where you are taking that money. So it is good to know, and it is good to guarantee. How does the Sacco also protect you? It is not only the guarantors. Of course, the Sacco, and I'm telling you this from a practical point of view, things that I've gone through, is that, number one, the Sacco is the first witness. If you, as a guarantor, you take the defaulter to the tribunal, cooperative tribunal. Do you all know that there's a cooperative tribunal? Yes. If you take that person to a cooperative tribunal, the first witness will be the Sacco. So the Sacco will be asked, did Timothy take the loan? Yes. Did Timothy default? Yes. What happened? We actually transfer that amount to the guarantors. So the Sacco becomes the first witness. Of course, the Sacco, with time, can also list that defaulter with the CRB. those rights are with the Sacco. So that now, ukifikiria because it's easy kupanda ndege, uende Qatar na uhepe na pesa ya watu, unaambia ai, ni kama uko na issue pale Concorde Sacco, enda ujaribu umalizane na wao. So that is how really the Sacco can also help a member, help the guarantors. So I want you to look at that as I am almost concluding. This, unaangalia ni mzee na kuna kijana wake hapo na wako Gishagi. Is it on screen? Okay. Unless it is urgent, don't go back home until you succeed, no matter the struggle in the wilderness. Keep the consistency and grind until your light shines. They are not waiting for you. They are waiting for your success. Wacha ukimbia Gishagi tu ovyo ovyo. Wanaangalianga umekuja na nini? The first time you come, ukirudi mama anakuambia na ulipata mtu ama that is the first. Haya, ukipata mtu kuna kamutu kametoka ama kunaenda. It is a success. It is a success all the time, isn't it? Haya, unamwambia uko Sacco, anamwambia na umenunua ploti ama, you get the point. It is a success they are looking for because they are wishing you well. So, and the Sacco obviously, enables you to do this. Of course, you can be successful when you join the housing, when you take loans and they work for you, you can be successful, isn't it? I want you to look at that. 2 sons of an alcoholic father. One struggles through life as a drunk, the other becomes a successful, ambitious business person. When asked, why are you the way you are? Both respond, my father was an alcoholic. Do you know what that means? The one who has become a drunk obviously has an excuse. Mazeka Buddha alikuwa anakunywa, si hata mimi naanguka nayo. Yeah? And people are like, okay, by the way, nikaa baba yake ndio alimonye. Then the other one is saying, the way I saw my father drunk, na alikuwa anaanguka kwa mitaro, I purposed and I swore I will join a Sacco and become successful. Na sitaku hata anguka na. Can you see? It all boils down to your own decision. It's your choice. And that is why I was saying, hata kuongeza savings is your choice. Thank you. So I'll just leave you as I conclude that the biggest room in this world is a room for improvement. Haijangi. Only you can put limit on what you can achieve. And when money realizes that it is in good hands, it wants to stay and multiply in those hands. That's why we say pesa inaenda penye pesa iko, hakuna ni wewe umejua kuiweka vizuri. So inakuwa ina stick, okay? And if you quit on the process, you are quitting on the results. Thank you, and God bless you. Concorde Sacco, changing lives. That is the end of my presentation. Down. My colleague, yeah. So let him just, yeah. So my colleague is Solomon Bogwa is a partner in Metrimax. He's also going to take you through the financial literacy. He's an expert in training and also a cooperator. Okay, so we are in good hands. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, the chair, the vice chair, members, and also the staff of Concorde Sacco. We are going to continue just straight from where Timothy has left. And the next session is on financial literacy and planning for Sacco members. We just give a slight divination of what is financial literacy. This is a knowledge and also the understanding of the financial matters and decision making. About financial planning is maximizing on the existing resources to achieve your financial goals and objectives. Some of these goals or objectives you could have set, for example, would be, you'll be saying, by the end of this year, I'll have saved enough money to buy myself a plot, to buy a car, or even to save and borrow something and borrow money so that you can be able maybe to invest. And some of these objectives of these financial trading and planning is one for you to understand how you go about the savings that Timothy has talked about. We also have the loans and credit management. He mentioned something to do with the purpose. It comes around this area of loans and credit management. You don't take a loan without a purpose. The other thing would be on investments. And above all, you'll have started with the planning. Without taking much of your time, let us go straight now to managing, how you go about managing personal finances effectively. One, you need to define what is your financial goals or objectives. So as we have just mentioned is that maybe you want to purchase a plot. That would be one of your financial goals. You want to own a home is one of another financial goal that you want to achieve. And the other thing is you also need to identify the sources of your income. And what are the dynamics that affect your sources of income or how you generate this money. For example, those people in businesses are so commonly calling themselves in Juakari sector. They would tell you that sometimes they're not sure of the income. Today you may get, you are not assured of tomorrow. So those are the dynamics that we are talking about. Maybe those of us in formal employment, but you are on contract basis. You are not sure whether your contract will be renewed or not. Maybe you have been employed on casual basis. And maybe at the end of the 6 months, you are told there's no job anymore. So you are given a break. Of course, you know the reason as to why maybe after 6 months, immediately after 6 months, you might not continue working. Those are the dynamics that we are talking about. You need to understand these dynamics so that you can be able to manage your personal finances. The other thing is on financial planning and measuring the progress of that particular financial plan. Those of us who are in the formal sector, when you talk of budget and forecasting, we usually have the targets. Okay, sorry. Okay. Those people who deal with the budget, they draw up the budget, the business budgets for the organization. Thereafter, what follows is the targets. And this is the progress that you are talking about when we say that you also need to do or measuring this progress of your goals. How far are you or how close are you to achieving this particular financial goal? The other item that also need to be done is you need to manage your debts. And when you're managing debts, there's what we call asset and also their liabilities. Or you can even replace the word asset with also your income. What you are getting and how you're spending it need also to be put into checks and also the balances. You need to maybe stop doing like impulse buying or something of sort. And the previous presenter has also done a good comparison on how you can, if you compare a loan that has been taken from a bank and from a Sacco. Sorry to say is that mostly in the commercial banks it will be expensive. And in some instances, you may be required to have a security. So the interest rate that you'll be paying in a commercial bank loan will also mean that you are likely to accelerate your levels of debts compared to a loan that you have taken from a Sacco. So that's why we are saying it would be important also to manage your debts, or you compare your sources and also the liabilities, or the income and the liabilities. The other thing is on savings and growth. Are you saving? You are earning, you are making income, you are generating money from your business, or a combination of business and employment. But are you saving? If you are saving, you are growing. And if you are not saving, you are not growing. So the other thing would be for you to understand investments and return. So once you invest, you are likely to get a return. When you save in a Sacco, you usually get dividends. So you'll compare. Now the below it is that, but before you proceed is that when you're looking on this kind of investment, we are looking on the risk and also the return. At the same time, you're asking ourselves, how safe is this investment? You have seen people losing money in Shylocks. It's because these Shylocks or some dubious Saccos, they are not registered, they are not regulated. Your Concorde Sacco is already registered and regulated by SASLA. So your savings are safe. If you invest in organizational institutions that are not regulated, the chances of losing all your investments are almost 99%. So therefore, when you'll be looking at this investment, you ask yourself whether it's regulated or not, because that will mean the safety of your investments. The other point is on risk and return. How well are you protecting your savings? Timothy has mentioned on how you go about having your savings in a Sacco and how well they are insured. We usually say that the higher the risk, the higher return. Yes, that is well said. But at the same time, you have to try and see whether this risk actually is amounting to a good return for yourself and for your generation, and whether it's meeting the purpose of your savings. The other thing that is important for you to consider, for you to have an effective personal finance management, is on how you go about the emergencies and disasters, or to do something else to cater for your family's needs, the basic needs. So it would also be important to try and do what we call risk stress testing on your personal life and personal finances. That what are the likely emergencies that are likely to happen that would affect my personal finance well-being. Now, let us look at key areas to this personal financial planning. We are going about the financial planning. One, you need to consider having a budget. And a budget, as I mentioned, you'll have to separate what is your income, vis-a-vis your expenses, and then what will be left thereafter will form part of your savings and part of your investments. Generally, a budget or budgeting is all about a roadmap. A roadmap, which is future forecast, that will help you to streamline your expenses, while else you will be installing what we call the financial discipline. So as the previous facilitator mentioned, is that even when you are at a comfort of your house, you can see that you have an excess 500. Transfer those funds to your Sacco. you'll accumulate your saving. So this is where we are talking about instilling a financial discipline. There is a small illustration on how you can go about budgeting your income. Sorry, here I had not factored well on people, those people in business. Forgive me for that. But if you look on the first column, we are talking of net salary or net income, be it from your business, and how you go about utilizing it. You may say that 50% of your total income or disposable income will go to the necessities. This will be the basic needs and, of course, the education. That will carry a significant portion because, as you know very well, that of course you have to eat, and kids need to go to schools. So we assume that you can spend up to 50% of your disposable income, but we are saying that you can, at the same time, review on priorities. What we mean is, especially for ladies, sorry, that you keep shopping on new wares, unlike men. So you may decide that you are going to scale down on the amount that you are spending on buying new clothing, and that funds can be put more into the savings of a Sacco, and that way you will also improve your financial position. Another assumption is that the tier 2 of your income, say 20%, can go to non-essential items or spending. For example, there's a holiday and also traveling and some other sort of welfare related. You need to support a person here and there in the society, in your workplace. They come along this area. But at the same time, what we are saying is that you can adjust and save and also have a long-term investment. Now, what will be left is 30%. 30% can go to your savings and investments, which our previous facilitator mentioned to us. Let us not stop having this a notion of talking over minimum balances. Here you can capitalize with your percentage after you have tried to play around with the rest of the tier 2s, the tier 1 and tier 2 of your expenses or your income, from your income, and you have more money on savings and investment. So this is just a simple illustration on how you can go about utilizing your income. So the other key area on your personal financial planning is saving and investment planning. The portfolio aligned to your disposable income, the risk appetite, and also your age, plus other factors. What we mean is that a portfolio is something put together, but is it aligned to your disposable income? One, being a Sacco member, is very easy for you to continue saving, as mentioned by Timothy, the previous facilitator. It's very easy. I heard from your vice chair, you got other channels that are upcoming. You can be able to transfer funds from your mobile. You'll be able also to check your balances. So these are an area that you also need to capitalize on. If you're employed at the same time you're in business, save more into this Sacco of yours. Then we have also mentioned something to do with the risk and return, and this is what we are calling risk appetite. Because as you invest, you also need to understand how much shock can I accommodate. Just in eventuality this goes bad, how much shock can I be able to accommodate with my income and also with my loans? Therefore, this is an area that you can check on. But the best thing with the SACCOs is that rarely you hear a SACCO saying that we are not declaring dividends. So therefore, it's upon you to increase more your savings and invest in the products of a SACCO. The other item in the personal planning is tax planning. We have tax advantaged products. That's what we usually say that is a tax shield item. Before you go to pension, you have your own SACCO. The number of items that are taxed in SACCO societies are very minimum. So you better capitalize on saving with the SACCOs so that you can be shielded on paying more taxes. The other item I've mentioned there is retirement products. They are also part of what is shielded on the taxes that you pay. The other thing is on education and emergencies planning. Maybe our members, you already got kids who are going to school or those who are depending on you. The grandchildren are also depending on you. You can invest your money or you can plan to have savings for the education done through SACCOs. And also the emergencies that we just mentioned. Another item that you can consider when you're doing the personal financial planning is retirement planning. It's very important. I think some months at the start of this year in the Business Daily, there was an article that was talking about who are retirees in our country. It's because the level of unemployment is high. So you find your grandchildren will be more dependent on you. So, and in a SACCO, you also still have an opportunity to plan for your retirement by the kind of the savings that you'll be having. The other thing is on estate planning. And we are talking of inheritance and legacy. When I talk of estate here, we are meaning the family-related thing. You can also consider that because I don't think that there's anyone who would wish to see his or her grandchildren languish in poverty while they are there or in the absence. And a practical example was given by Timothy on how much would be left in eventuality and a member loses his or her life and with a loan. The other thing is insurance planning, where you caution yourself, your future income, as we are saying. It can also be dependent just purely on your investment and your savings that you have done. We also have. Hello. We are back, huh?
Okay.
Okay, so. Okay. Members online, sorry for the technical hitch. Thank you for bearing with us. And we can continue. Just in case of any challenge, please do have a chat on us. Now, the other point is, or the other strategy is investment steady or returns. Here we have the share capital. You also have savings. And thereafter you can borrow to invest. Once you get your annual dividends, for example, you can have it capitalized. And the other factor, the other strategy is for one or a member to increase the share capital. Another strategy is on joint investments. We have Concorde Sacco got products for both the corporate and also the individuals. One can capitalize on that. The corporate, that is if one has a formalized business, you can enjoy that and also increase your financial well-being. The other strategy is on accessing low interest loans from the Sacco. E.g. for the Concorde Sacco, there is a long-term loan, security, share where you'll be required to utilize your shares or guarantors and also the collateral. And the good news that we have just heard is that you can now get more money. You can get more loans by having a multiplication done by 5 times. And also the amount that is disposable is more as per the product. The other thing is on leveraging on secured Sacco loans. Apart from getting loans from the members' guarantorship, you can still utilize your security to be able to get more money. At the same time, you also be ensuring we got something for the Sacco to grow. The other strategy is leveraging on asset financing, Sacco loans. For example, you have the Concorde property loan where you can utilize title deed as a security. The other final topic will be on building a sustainable Sacco community. And we start with a definition on what is sustainable. Is capable of being supported or upheld. Or is a balancing between the environment, equity, and economy. That is more on sustainability reporting. This will happen, one, on members' engagement and participation. And the importance of the members' involvement and decision-making processes in a Sacco would be one, to provide the governance and also the exercise their rights as provided by the acts and the bylaws of the Sacco. At this point, they also have an opportunity to vote and also to appoint their representative. And most importantly, members will be able to appoint the external auditor or have the existing one elected. But this now will only be if it's in compliance with the laws and regulations. The rotation period has been met. You members, you'll be able to see that the term limit for this particular auditor has expired. And therefore you'll have an opportunity to appoint another one. Of course, the other thing is compliance with the laws and regulations. The other important thing is that you'll be able to receive and adopt and also the reject, if need be, annual audited accounts. And these audited accounts are the ones which will be determining the kind of the dividends that you are going to get as members and bonuses if to be awarded. So it's important for the members of a Sacco to be involved and participate in activities of the Sacco. The other item is that as a member, when you participate, you ensure transparency, accountability, and also the disclosure. Also mentioned in the audited account. Other point is understanding and approving the future of your Sacco. Say, for example, the strategic plan of your Sacco. You can have a say if you do participate. You can be called upon to give your inputs. When a platform is given, just like the way you usually have the public participation, you as a member, you are given an opportunity during the strategic planning. You participate. Some of you members, you are also even experts in that area. You can contribute to the well-being of your Sacco, because this strategic plan will give a direction on where the Sacco is expected to head. The other thing is to submit the projects or initiatives to the board for the Sacco improvement. Which area do you think as a member can be improved? You'll be able to talk. You have an opportunity to talk to your board member and your supervisory committees or delegates. Approve the dividends, new products, and also the project. You'll be able to also to access the legitimate information. When the accounts are being presented, you'll be able to get the right information. You have a right to ask and even question the auditor or get a clarification from the auditor on the account of your Sacco. And also the new regulations, you'll be able to be updated because the cooperative officer might be in attendance and you'll be able to get all those details. Toward the list is on transparency and trust within Sacco. Transparency is being open and honest. How transparency and trust between the Sacco and its members lead to a more robust and effective organization. One is governance and democracy. You'll be able to, as a member, to participate without fear, and as a result, you promote the ownership and the control of your Sacco. At the same time, those in leadership and also the board, having embraced the governance and democracy, they'll be able to ensure that the leadership and the stability of the Sacco. The other thing is on auditing and reporting. The Sacco will be audited as required by the SASLA. At the same time, you members will be able to scrutinize those accounts at the same time, and you ensure that there's a financial health of your Sacco. Most importantly, point number 3 is the financial stability when you have the transparency and the trust. The transparent leadership, promote active members. You will also have regular saving and the paying of the loans. You also get dividends as members and also the interest. So with those few and many remarks, we come to the end of our presentation today.
Thank you very much, Timothy and Solomon. Members, wherever you are, you can clap for them. We here are clapping for them. Thank you very much for that really great presentation. Members, I want to assure you, first and foremost, that we are checking out your chat. The information that you are writing or the questions that you are writing, the comments that you are putting on the chat, we are taking note of that. We will be able to answer a couple of them in due course. So therefore, please be encouraged to ask as many questions as you would like to. We may not be able to do that in the time frame of this education day, but we will ensure that all of you have all the answers that you need to whatever was asked. We apologize once again for the hitch in sound. I hope everything is back. We are not unique. Even Microsoft had a hitch 2 weeks ago. So I think we have done quite well so far. Another thing I would like to express is that the training is recorded. Today's Education Day is recorded. All the links will be shared with all the members in due course. We will compress them and share them with all of you members. So if you've been taking notes, good for you, but just be assured also that we'll be able to provide you with all these links. At this point, I would like to introduce to you our Dagoretti North Sub-County representative, Sir Joroge Mwangi. He is not a stranger to Concorde Sacco. He has walked this journey with us for many years. So at this point, we would like to invite him to come and address the members and also give us some information about our housing Sacco that is to come. Thank you very much. Please welcome Mr. Joroge Mwangi.
Good afternoon, members. As I have been introduced as Joroge Mwangi, that is my name. I'm in charge of Dagoretti sub-county. Normally, I consider the two Dagorettis, north and south. So, zote ni Dagoretti. So, because cooperatives, I believe you understand, it's a devolved function. That is why we consider the sub-counties. The laws that we are currently using, that is the Cooperative Societies Act and the Cooperative Societies Rules, they do not recognize the two levels, and therefore we'll be having the changes in the amendments to the Cooperative Societies Act, because the government is there to ensure that your funds are as safe as possible. because members in a general meeting elect the board members whom you entrust on the finances that you save, your hard-earned cash is entrusted to the 9 board members and the 3 supervisory committee members, assisted by the secretariat headed by the CEO. And therefore, because these are your funds, the government is also keen in ensuring that those funds are safe. And that is why in the year 2008, the Sacco Act came into being, where we started by having the first regulations in 2010. And that was for the deposit-taking societies. These are societies operating front office savings activity, but Concorde Sacco bado haikuwa imefika hapo na haijafika hapo, but still the movement was still growing, and therefore it was also found fit through the same Sacco Act that we get another set of regulations, known as Regulations 2020 for the non-withdrawable deposit-taking societies. For any society, any Sacco, not any society, but any Sacco, because the Sacco Act is for Saccos only, any Sacco that have attained and withdrawable deposits of 100 million and above, then you become subjected to the Regulation 2020, and that is where now Concorde Sacco is. So that is where you are regulated, and you also changed your name to Concorde Regulated and WDT, Sacco Society Limited. It therefore means that you are also regulated by SASRA, still ensuring the safety of your funds. And this is to encourage members to save as much as possible in your society, because the government is there to have a check of your finances. So let us have that confidence in this society, because it is your society, you are the owners and you are the customers. This is your bank. This is your financial institution. Let us consider this Sacco as your financial institution, because when you talk of a deposit-taking society, that is a bank by itself offering financial services. Will Concorde Sacco go to that extent of offering all the banking services? This is when you will be able to attain the requirements for a deposit-taking society, and that is when I will be subjected to the Regulations 2010. Therefore, mine is to still remind members that we are still considering that your society is within the regulations. That is all the regulations governing the cooperative movement, and therefore we are putting a keen eye on your society to ensure the safety of your funds so that you can be confident enough in saving in your society. This being a Sacco, we need to save as much as possible, because remember, everyone's concern is how to secure the future, how to secure your future. How do you secure your future? It is by ensuring that you have that financial security. And for you to get that financial security, it has to start by saving. You have to save as much as possible. However much you have the minimum monthly contribution, which is set by the society. And all this is as per the third principle of cooperatives. That is where we consider economic participation by members, that each member must participate in the economic activities of the society in form of savings and credit. That minimum monthly contribution that has been set for your society, is it 3,000 or 5,000? 2,500. Unakaa kama around 3, 4 hapo. Concorde, hii ni dege. Watu wa dege wanafaa kuwa mbele. So members, let us ensure that we consider that monthly contribution. However much you have the minimum monthly contribution, and the trainers have told us that let us not just consider that minimum monthly contribution. Let us save as much as possible. Because remember, we consider that, yes, today you are working. You wake up early in the morning to work for money. But how much do you save? It is you as an individual to make that decision. Because they consider that we need to save a minimum of 10% of what we earn. Is that 2,500? At least 10% of your earning? You need to make that computation. What is 2,500 that you save if you are saving the minimum in comparison to what you earn at the end of the year? Not at the end of the year, at the end of the month. 2,500. So let us consider that we can be able to increase that, because the greatest concern is about how will you retire, because one day, one time you will retire. And one of the presenters ametuambia mambo ya retirement. That was one of the key areas that he considered. How will you retire? I don't know whether you have ever asked yourself, how will you retire? Everyone wants to have a comfortable retirement. Hakuna mtu anasemaga hata comfortable retirement. A comfortable retirement. Can that be your key goal as you save in this society, that you want to have a comfortable retirement? And how will you have that comfortable retirement if you are not saving? Let's not consider only the 2,500. Remember, it is not the business of your employer to promote you. It is not the business of your employer to make you rich. It is your business. It is your business. And how do you then become rich? It is by making proper use of this society. Because the government have done its part to ensure the safety of your finances, then do your part by saving more and more. Because whatever the employer does to you, it's only to compensate you for the service that you have offered. Sio kukusaidia, ni kusaidiana. To compensate you for the service you have offered, you are compensated. Whatever you do with that money, it's not the business of your employer. At the end of the month, once you get that salary, ukitaka kutumia yote in one day, sini yako, just use it. However, the employer only consider what service did you offer in the next month for you to be compensated. It therefore becomes your business to ensure that you become rich by making use of this society. That is why this society is an independent organization. And that is why the government is very keen on the management of every cooperative society in Kenya. So that is why we have a department for cooperatives to ensure that members have somewhere they can be able to save their funds. One great man, Robert Kiyosaki, said that it is not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations can you keep it for. It is not how much money you make. You may be making millions. You may be making thousands. You know, wanasemaga 6 figure. 6 figure ni kutoka 100,000. Yes, you may be making those figures, but how much money do you keep? So it does not matter how much money you make, but how much money you keep. How hard that money will work for you, then how many generations can you keep it for? If today you are to be told hakuna kazi kesho, can you be able to survive in the next 2-3 months? Ama sasa kazi imeisha, hata wewe umeisha. It all depends on the decisions that you make. Remember, the decisions that you make today have an effect on your financial health now and in the future. Make the right decisions. And the decision is to save in this society. Because unless you save, you cannot be rich. And it is your business to make you rich by making proper use of this society. They say that 99% of failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. Are you one of them? Making excuses. Kamshahara ni kadogo. Siwezi nunua kapuloti yangu. Watoto wangu hawezi somea shule mzuri. All these excuses, money will never be enough. It is how you subdivide that money into different portions. What percentage goes into saving? What percentage goes into expenses? So how do you subdivide that money? So that's your business. And that is why today your leadership considered that, can we have another arm to ensure that members are able to take their finances somewhere so that they can be able to own a property in form of a house. And that is why the key consideration of ensuring that you have a housing cooperative society. So Bonachair will be able to talk about now that issue of housing. Because savings, tumeongeleshwa sana. Na tumesema that is your business to find out how will you be rich. It is not the business of your employer to make you rich, nor to promote you. It's your business. That's why the Sacco is there, to provide you with an opportunity to save. How about an opportunity to have an extra investment? That is why the issue of a housing cooperative society. And because in cooperatives, you consider that the law provides that a society should stick to the objectives for which it was registered. The objective of a Sacco is saving said credit. And therefore, you cannot go outside that objective because the law prohibits that. So the Sacco cannot be able to take funds and go and purchase a certain piece of land somewhere. And then you waambie members kujeni mnunue mashamba. But the society was registered to offer the credit facilities. Once you take those finances to that piece of land, haitanunuliwa overnight. A member will come nataka mkopo. Mnamwambia pesa tulinunua shamba. That was not what he or she wanted, but wanted a loan. That is why you have to stick to the objective. So that is why the Sacco cannot venture into the real estate. And for you to venture into that, we have to have a different vehicle, and that is the housing cooperative society. That is where now the leadership considered, can we start the process of registering another cooperative society, a housing one, whose main objective is to members to save for them to get that piece of land. Remember, for a Sacco, you save to get a credit. A credit, that is the loan facility. Vile utafanya na hizo pesa, ni shida yako. If you take that loan and consider that you are going to build a house, ukose kujenga nyumba, si bora tu utalipa kwa society? That is the key consideration. Because I don't know whether you make a follow-up, what do they do? If they say we are going to develop kujenga nyumba, do you somehow make a follow-up that huyo member kweli alijenga nyumba? Bonachair bado. Ama utapata mwingine alisema naenda kujenga nyumba huko mashambani huko Gishagi. Ukienda kuangalia alijenga nyumba ya kuku. Sio nyumba ya kuku. Sibali hata hiyo ni nyumba. So a follow-up. So for the Sacco is taking loans and do whatever you want with that loan. But now the housing, this is where members will be saving so that they can be able to acquire a property in form of a land. Because for a housing to be there, there must be that land. So that is why it's about getting that piece of land, get a big piece of land, then subdivide amongst the members who are willing so that they can be able to acquire that piece of land. So today was meant to be a pre-cooperative day. It was about members' education and also a pre-cooperative session. One of the key requirements for the commissioner to register a cooperative society is that process of pre-cooperative. Therefore, I believe that this being the pre-cooperative part, and the potential members are those who are present here, because the consideration is members of the Sacco will be able to that housing cooperative society. So that is why the issue of this pre-cooperative, to give more information relating to a cooperative society and also to the housing cooperative society. And I believe you understand the principles of cooperatives, which are international principles of cooperatives. The first one being voluntary and open membership, that once a society is registered, you join the society voluntarily. It's not about forcing someone to join. So once the society will be registered, it is those who are willing to join. It is voluntary. The same way you join the Sacco. So you join voluntarily. That's why it is voluntary and open membership. The membership is open to any person within the common board. If you consider the common board will be members of Concorde Sacco. So any member of the Sacco can be able to join the housing voluntarily. So anyone within the common board. So that is the first principle of cooperatives. Principle number 2 talks about democratic member control. I believe you understand you control the society democratically. A cooperative is democratically controlled. And members have those democratic rights, which are exercised only in a general meeting. because the law provides that every year, every society must be able to have a general meeting, an annual general meeting within 4 months after the closure of the financial year. That is why Concorde Sacco hawachelewi. So even if this housing will be registered, still it will be having the general meetings within 4 months after the closure of the financial year. That is where members exercise their democratic rights. That is why the principle number 2, democratic member control. Number 3 is known as economic participation by members. Each member must participate in the economic activities of the society. For the Sacco, the economic activity is savings and credit. So we have to see every member saving in the Sacco. And that is why you have the minimum monthly contribution. Then we need to see everyone getting a credit. Sio tu kusave na wewe huchukui mikopo. Kwani ulikuja kusaidia wengine? Take loans from the Sacco. That is the key consideration. Economic participation by members. That is for the Sacco part. For the housing part, the consideration of the economic activity. This is where members will be saving. And as you save, when the society have a project, if there is a piece of land wamepata somewhere, maybe around Kagudo Road, na huko Kitengera, wherever they get that piece of land, then the savings that you have can be able to assist you to acquire that piece of land. So you save continuously on monthly basis. At the time when maybe that piece of land is there, and maybe a plot is costing maybe like 1 million, and already you have saved 300,000. It therefore means your 300 will be used to acquire that piece of land. You just pay the balance. Sinikupaanisha kama ulikuwa na 300 na ni ya milioni moja, you pay the 700. So the savings will assist you to acquire that piece of land. You only subscribe to a project that is there. So that is the principle number, economic participation. You have to see each member participating, because joining the housing, why join the housing and yet you are not ready to get that piece of land? Then we need to remember that this piece of land, it may be somewhere that you may not consider you can settle there. But you'll find that watu wanakuwaga na mashamba mingi. Does it mean they can live in all those pieces of land? No. Just purchase, get that piece of land. Wakienda kwa project ingine, get a piece. But when you want to settle somewhere, now a place that you can consider, this is suitable for me, you can dispose them, you can consolidate all of them. Na uende ujenge mahali unataka. So just get that piece of land when the opportunity is there, because land does not depreciate. If a society gets a project here, and after 1 year they get another project adjacent to that, prices will be different. So the earlier, the better. So whichever project comes, ensure or strive to get into it, because you'll be able to get value for your money. And also remember that the prices that cooperatives usually give, they have to be prices that are somehow lower than the market prices, because the consideration is that they are buying a large or a big piece of land and subdivide, so that they can be able to offer a price that is competitive, slightly lower than the market price, because that is what we consider that you are coming together to earn something, to get something out of coming together. So that was principle number 3. Number 4 is autonomy and independence, that once a society is registered, it's an independent organization. It's a body corporate. It's a legal person. A legal person is someone created by law. So a cooperative society is a legal person created by the Cooperative Societies Act and the Cooperative Societies rules. And we also consider that a society can sue or be sued in its own name. It can own property in its own name through principle number 4, autonomy and independence. Principle number 5 is known as education, training, and information. And that is where your society ensures that every year we have members' education to ensure that you abide with the 5th principle of cooperatives: education, training, and information. Information, you get your information. Sorry. Getting that, the information, your relations with the society. I believe you have a system. You know, cooperatives are coming up with systems that you can just go to a portal and get all your information. Hata Concorde Sacco iko hivyo. If I want to know to have my statement, there is a portal I can be able to access. So that is access to information. Still on that fifth principle, education, training, and information. This information you are getting today is very key to ensure that as you continue with your membership of this society, you are confident on what you are doing. So let us ensure that we consider the information that you are getting. The presenters gave us as much information as possible, which will be beneficial for the next 1 year. So that come next year, you still get more information. That is through principle number 5, education, training, and information. Principle number 6 is known as cooperation among cooperatives. We need to cooperate with other cooperative societies. They say no one is an island. You cannot just live alone. So you have to ensure that you get to know what others are doing so that you can be able to do what they do in your society. The products they offer, how they offer the services, the systems that they use. We need to cooperate with other cooperatives. And there are different ways of cooperating. We have the apex bodies like CoopBank, CIC, Cusco. All these are apex bodies that you can be able to cooperate with because they are owned by the cooperative movement. Then we have another day known as Ushirika Day celebrations, which I believe your society participates. And I believe there are so many exhibitions there. Normally it's held on the first Saturday of July. Dakama this year, it was just postponed, but I believe it will still be there. It was postponed due to the climate that was there. So I believe it will still be there so that members, the cooperative movement can be able to enjoy that Ushirika Day celebrations. So that is the sixth principle. And the last one is known as concern for community in general. In corporate world, they talk about CSR. What can you give back to the community? What can the Sacco, the Concorde Sacco, give back to the community? The same to every cooperative society. You can be able to give back so that if you have enough, let us share with the community that we live with. So those are the principles of cooperative that every registered cooperative society must be able to follow and also differentiates a cooperative society with other groupings. And that is also what the housing will be able to follow, as also considering that there are values to consider, and the key one being the issue of equity and equality. In cooperatives, all members are equal. There is no member who is more than the other. The differentiation is only what you have brought to the society. But in terms of services, members are equal. One member, one vote. It doesn't matter the deposit that you have. You may have millions, but a member who joined last month will still have one vote, like any other member who have the millions in the society. So all members are treated equally. You get the services equally. The differentiation is how much have you contributed? So that is a key value that needs to be considered. The same way when you come to the housing, when it comes to the services, all members are treated equal. Whether you are a committee member, a board member, a staff, wherever you are, as long as you are a member, you are treated equally. So as we consider coming up with this housing cooperative society, which will be different from the Sacco, the benefits is on how you can be able to pool your resources together so that you can be able to get that piece of land at a reduced price. And that reduction is as a result of ensuring that you have come together, the society have bought that piece of land, a big one, in such a way that you can subdivide and the prices will be lower than the market price. So that is the key consideration for a housing cooperative society. So that once you get a loan from the Sacco, na unataka kununua shamba, this housing will have done its due diligence. Unlike as an individual, where maybe it may take more time for you to undertake that or maybe costly, thereby increasing the cost of maybe that land. But the society will have done then for the entire piece of land, that due diligence. You can also be able to have a relationship with other big cooperative societies, which also are in the same business of land buying. you can consider to make use of them so that you can benefit from that cooperation among cooperatives. You'll find that other housing cooperative societies are linking with other investment cooperatives, even marketing their produce, their products, so that you can still earn something. And therefore, the key benefit will be that piece of land that you get. So ensure that you participate in all the projects that the society may come up with. So that is the key information I can be able to share with you today. And the process of registering a cooperative society, we have forms that need to be filled, which I believe members present here are the potential members. And therefore, the forms will be filled by the interim officials whom you will be able to consider or to elect. There are 3 forms to be filled. The first one is the application form. The second one is the economic appraisal form that gives how financially or how economically viable will you be in the first 1 year. The projected income and the projected expenses. That is on the economic appraisal form. And there is another form known as supplementary information form, which the interim officials will be able to fill, including names of 10 members who are the initial members to start the process of registration of the society. Then there will be the requirement that the name that you may want to use. Sijui kama mumetafuta the name that you may want to use. A name search needs to be done so that you can be able to reserve that name for a period of 30 days with the Commissioner for Cooperatives. A payment of 200 shillings is done to reserve that name. Then once the name is reserved, then you can be able to fill the forms with the name that was reserved. Also, you can be able to prepare the bylaws because the bylaws have to be in line with the reserved name so that within the 30 days of the reservation, you're able to fill the necessary forms, prepare the bylaws. The payments will be the 200 shillings for the name search. Then, because cooperatives is a devolved function, the county government expects an income from that process. That is, you pay 5,000 shillings as the registration fee to the county government. Then for the national government, the fee remains to be 3,700 shillings. No, 500. It is 3,700 because of the inclusion of the search, which is 200. So for the national government is 3,700, including the search fee, and for the county government is 5,000. So that is the total amount that you pay to the government, both the national and the county governments. A receipt will be required. The interim officials will be required to provide information on how members will be doing the contributions, because if it is a check-off system, the employer will be able to write a commitment letter that the deductions will be done so that a check-off system is effected. But if not a check-off system, the interim officials write a commitment letter that members will be saving or you will be correcting the finances, not by cash, but by other means, either the pay bill number, members paying directly to the bank account and bring the deposit slip, a commitment from the interim officials. So those are the requirements that will be required for you to undertake the process. And once the documents are ready, they will be brought to our offices for forwarding to the Commissioner's office, because I believe the society is viable. And for the society to prepare the bylaws, there are some key things that needs to be considered. Number one is the registered office, which I believe you just consider the Sacco office, because it is the Sacco that is facilitating So the registered office, I believe, will be at this building, and it was Centenary. The registered office, the postal address, you can still use the same. The common board, it is members of the Sacco who will be able to qualify to join. So that common board will still be there in the bylaws. Then the entrance fee, because remember, for you to join a cooperative society, So you have to pay the entrance fee. This entrance fee have to be in the bylaws of the society. So I don't know whether you have considered what can be the entrance fee. We have the entrance fee. We also have the share capital and now the monthly contribution. But what will go to the bylaws is only the entrance fee and the share capital. So entrance fee. Sijui chair kama mmeangalia mkaona ni kama gapi. What is the entrance fee for the Sacco? The entrance fee, 2.5. Not the monthly contribution. Or it is the same, zinafanana. How about the share capital for the Sacco? 10,000. So the same will be in the housing. We did entrance fee and also the share capital. And remember the share capital. The share capital, remember it's not withdrawable but transferable. But this share capital, it is that share capital will be able to assist the society. Remember, the leadership will be scouting for land somewhere. They'll be required to pay a deposit. Sidio? Where will that deposit come from? It is this share capital that members will contribute. Because once you contribute the share capital will not assist you to get that piece of land. If you have a share capital, for example, like in a Sacco, it's 10,000. Na hiyo pia mnafaa kuongeza. Considering that we have the capital adequacy ratios for them to be achieved. So, but for the housing, the housing will not be at the SASRA, but this share capital. If you have a membership, for example, of 100 members, each member gets a share capital. Say, for example, it is 2,000. That is the money that the society, the leadership can consider. Hiyo ndio tuko nayo. 100 members times 2,000 ni pesa gapi? 200,000. If that piece of land requires a deposit of 1 million, will the leadership be able to get hold of that land? It will not be possible because pesa ni kidogo. Then that is why we need to consider a higher share capital. So that now, if maybe, for example, each member have like 20,000, na members wote ni 100, 20,000 times 100, hiyo ni pesa gapi? Wale wanaweza calculate haraka haraka. Ni 2 million. So it therefore means at any given time, there is 2 million at the disposal of the leadership that they can be able to use it as a deposit. So that now once we are through with this project, because the share capital will not assist you to get that piece of land. You have the share capital, tumesema kama ni 20,000 na deposits za pengine 100,000. It's only 100,000 that will go towards that piece of land, but 20,000 inabaki. Because going to the next project, the same 2 million bado iko. They can use it to go to the next project. So that is why a share capital for a housing needs to be a bit higher to ensure that for you to jumpstart a project, the share capital is there. It is enough to ensure that you can pay the deposit as members subscribe to that project and maybe do the repayments. Maybe the deposits ambazo zitakuwa zimeletwa may not be enough. So that is why a share capital needs to be somehow substantial. Isiwe sijui tutaweka kama gapi. So but for entrance fee, unataka tuweke gapi? Because itaingia kwa hiyo bylaw. Weka kama ya Sacco. Yeah. So we have the members wapatie about that opportunity. If we can, you know, this entrance fee, it will be part of that economic appraisal form that because it is gauging the income, that is the first income for the society. All the expenses will be borne by this entrance. That is the only income for the first year.
Suggest.
Yeah, they can suggest. Sawa, they can suggest now or between now and As long as it will be part of the minutes of whatever will be done, maybe they can suggest and have it in the minutes, whatever you can agree on. So they can agree and be part of this minutes, and also the share capital to be agreed and be part of the proceedings of today, because you need to agree. So those are two things that needs to be in the bylaws. The quorum, that is not a challenge.
Chart of what, so that we can have an interim amount.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can be able to chart the entrance fee and also the share capital. Yeah, hoping share capital haitawekwa kidogo. Kuna ingine huwa ninakataa. Juu ikikuwa kidogo sana, you may not be able to proceed. The leadership will have a hard time because you need finances to jumpstart a project. So those two members will be able to discuss. The other thing will be the quorum. The quorum that needs also to be part of the bylaws. Quorum ya sako ni gapi? Bwana CEO, 50 members. But for the housing, we expect to get maybe a certain, we expect in 1 year, tutakuwa na members kama wagapi? Ama wote wataigia?
Yeah. We have how many members who are required to enter into the housing? About 50 or more? More than 50.
Okay, so maybe we can consider the quorum to be like 30 or a quarter, whichever is less. So that if we have 50 members, a quarter of 50 ni 12 and a half, so hiyo ni 13. So 13 becomes the quorum because it is less than that. You can consider 30 or a quarter, whichever is less. So that is something. The other thing, we need interim officials who will be able to, because the board members are the ones who consider that, can we have a housing cooperative society? So for the membership, we need to ensure that we have interim officials for the housing side. So maybe members can be able to consider whether they'll be able to empower maybe the executive, because we need a chair, a vice, a treasurer, and a secretary. So if members can be able to empower the executive officials of the Sacco to jumpstart the process, because we need to have a follow-up until when we will be able to have a certificate of registration. Now, after getting the certificate, the law provides that within 30 days of registration, we need to have another meeting known as first general meeting. That is where now we will be able to elect now the officials, the Housing Cooperative Society, that is the management and the supervisory committee. So I don't know whether members are okay with that, considering that we have the interim officials as the members of the officials of the Sacco. Maybe they can give information. Are they able to chat? Are they chatting for the entrance fee? They are chatting.
Let me just say whatever. Members, as Mr. Njoroge is speaking, please note that the chat is open. This meeting is our education day, but it's also the pre-cooperative meeting for the Housing Sacco, which we've been asking for a long time. This is the information that he's giving us here. All the things that we are required to have before it can be registered. So please put in the chat what your suggestion of share capital is. The board would like to suggest, I've just conferred with Duke, our chair, 25,000 as a share capital and 10,000 as the joining fee. If you feel that that is too much, or if it's too little or whatever, just chat. These are not figures fixed on stone. We will be able to discuss this further. But we need your input, those who are interested in joining the Sacco, the Housing Sacco, so that we can kickstart this process and get it moving forward. Also, you can also, as Mr. Njoroge has suggested, if you can give us permission as the current board to be the interim until the first AGM, where you then elect who the board of that Housing Sacco will be. Are we clear, members? I think that is quite in order, yeah? Njoroge. Thank you.
So I believe you are chatting on the three key things, the entrance fee, which the consideration is, you said 10,000. So what is your feeling on that entrance fee? Then the share capital, 25,000. What is your feeling? Which amount do you feel that you are comfortable with? That is 2. Number 3, whether you are empowering the current board of the Sacco to be the interim officials of this housing cooperative society. So those are the 3 key things that we need you to make a consideration for, so that you can have something to input in the bylaws of the society. And if we get that, will be good, so that once we are through with that, we can be able to have the forms and prepare the other documentation required for the registration process. So I think that is all that I needed to say. Once they give that information, it will be okay, and the process can be able to kick off. However much you have started the process, ni kuendelea, so that you can get that certificate. And once you get it, we'll be able to have that meeting, the first general meeting. So members, let us support this society. It's a housing cooperative society. You know, sometimes we are used to a Sacco. Then you start saying this housing Sacco. It's not a housing Sacco, it's a housing cooperative society. A Sacco is savings and credit cooperative society, but this is a housing cooperative society. Let's have that differentiation from the start, from the beginning. Not a housing Sacco, but a housing cooperative society. And I believe once we register the society, we'll be able to get the benefits, because you can get a loan from the Sacco and invest in that piece of land, because it is your business to make yourself rich by acquiring as many properties as possible. With that, Bwana Chair, I'm through with my session, unless if there are questions which I may be required to respond to. Asanteni.
All right. Before Mr. Njoroge, you leave, I can see the questions popping up, and one of them it relates to differentiation between the entrance fee and the share capital. So if you can put some emphasis on that for clarity to our members. Thank you.
Okay. The differentiation between the entrance fee and the share capital. I usually consider this in relation to the two. That if someone wants to join somewhere, or maybe visit somebody or somewhere, ukitembea kwa boma ya mtu, you are required to kubisha mlango ndio ufunguliwe mlango ukiwa umebeba hata sukari. Okay, so I relate the entrance fee ni pesa ya kubisha mlango. Kubisha mlango wa this cooperative society, so that it can be opened for you. So ukibisha mlango na the entrance fee, that is a fee that is not refundable. It's an income to the society. Ni ya kubisha mlango. Ukifunguliwa kwa boma, na hii boma ni hii tuite housing, Concorde housing. For now. For this Concorde housing, ama for the Concorde Sacco, si kuna members wanaigia, wanakuja wanabisha mlango, wanafunguliwa. Wakilipa the entrance fee, si wanafunguliwa mlango, na wanaambiwa karibu. Akiingia, si sasa anataka kuwa mwenyeji. Now you find that this house is smart. You want to be one of the owners, the co-owners, kuwa mwenyeji. Kuwa mwenyeji is to co-own that society. And to co-own the society, you purchase the minimum shares. Continuously build this institution, because the share capital is for the capital expenditure of the society, to build the structures of this society. It is through the share capital. And this is where now, si pesa ni ya kujenga, ni ya ujenzi. If literally we consider ni kujenga kama ni nyumba. Wewe umekuja na jiwe moja, mwingine simiti, mwingine chuma, tuweke kwa hizi pillars. It is the share capital that is used in the infrastructures of the society. Hii nyumba umeona ni smart. Unataka kuwa mwenyeji. You purchase the minimum shares to co-own the society. but the entrance fee ilikuwa ya kubisha ufunguliwe. The share capital is for you to co-own the society. And at the end of the year, because now umekuwa mwenyeji, sasa ungetaka kufanya biashara na hii society. For you to do business, you have to do the monthly contribution. And that is why the monthly savings that you pay, that you save to the society, that is the savings that you make use in the business of the society. It is not the share capital. The share capital is for the infrastructures of the society. The ICT system that you have, the tables you have in the office, the laptops, the computers, the chairs, see, those are the infrastructures to assist in the business of the society. Share capital inaenda huko. But for the business, for the Sacco, the business is savings and credit. Ni mambo ya kuuza pesa. Zile pesa zitauzwa, it is the savings. And that is why when you come for a loan, the consideration is the savings that you have in the society, excluding the share capital, because the share capital was used in the infrastructure. And therefore means for business, it is the savings. Kwa sababu umekuwa mwenyeji, unataka kuanza biashara, unafanya savings. It therefore means now, for the housing, utabisha mlango that the entrance fee, then you co-own the society with the share capital, but for the business ya kununua mashamba, ni the savings that you'll be making on monthly basis. So that when you want that piece of land, utaangalia savings zako ni gapi. Kama shamba ni milioni moja na umetoa 1,300, si utakwambia ulete 700, lakini share capital itakuwa kado because it will be used for the infrastructures. But before maybe it is used in capital expenditure, itasaidia katika the land scouting for the first deposit of maybe that project that will be starting. Sijui kama sasa imeeleweka somehow. Yes.
There is the adjoining fee, entrance fee.
Yes.
There is the share capital, and then there's the monthly contribution.
Yes.
They are also asking whether it will be the same as the Sacco. So there's importance for that clarification that this is something to be determined, but we can also suggest.
Yeah.
They can also suggest as members.
Yeah, it may be the same or it may not. Because remember, a Sacco is a different entity from the housing. So that is why we have given members that opportunity to chat, to make a decision. How much will be for the entrance fee, for the share capital, and also for the monthly contribution that we are not determining maybe that today, but maybe after the registration, so that we can be able to consider the members who have joined, so that they can make a decision. How much do we contribute on monthly basis? So it is not a must for them to be the same. It is the members of the housing to make the decision and have it in the bylaws. So they can be differentiated, they can be the same. If they want them to be the same, it is them making the decision. Yeah. Sawa sawa, asanteni.
Thank you very much, Mr. Njoroge. I think we can give him a rousing applause again. Members, we are seeing all your comments. We are not taking that for granted. I would like to just go through a couple, and I think Duke will also be here to assist with that. You have heard what it is that we are requiring. Jacinta, you can give us those because they are part of what we are doing right now. Sorry. Yeah? All right, before we go into this last part, we had 2 facilitators today, very able facilitators. Thank you very much for coming. And I believe that you have another function, so you would like to leave us. Members, we may not be able to answer all your questions, but if you do have any questions for these 2 facilitators, kindly put them in the chat. Now, we will look at them, and in the next 5 minutes, we will answer some of those questions. If you have any questions for the 2 facilitators. So while you're doing that, I will just go through some of the questions that you members have asked and see if we can, we'll see if we can answer some of them. Some of them will not be able to answer them. One of them was the signature loan was increased, but the minimum number you can sign for remained at 5, limiting people from signing and also taking the loan. This is a risk issue. The credit committee has gone through this. It's under risk assessment, but we will further discuss as a board and see what the best is. Yes, Mr. Remick? All right. There's another question. Hope in the course of the session we will get more information on how the housing society will work. I believe you've received all that information from Njoroge. What we shall do as Secretariat and the board, we will facilitate and we will give you all the summary points of the what Mr. Njoroge has shared with us today. Correct, the minimum contribution thing, it looks like it's limiting. And I believe this member who is asking this is referring to the 2,500 shillings. It is 2,500 shillings for joining and 2,500 shillings your first monthly contribution. James, is that correct? They usually, when a member comes in, you pay in 5,000 shillings. It's 2,500 shillings for joining and 2,500 at the moment is a current minimum contribution for deposits. As Mr. Njoroge and our facilitators have encouraged us, and we did this at the last AGM. We encouraged members to increase the minimum deposit. I hope by the next AGM, you'll have been convinced. Okay, and somebody else is congratulating the board on the mobile app. Thank you very much. This is a work in progress. It has taken time. It's also a cost issue, so that is why it has taken time, but thank you for that. Excellent concept for leveraging the platform. Thank you very much. It seems like it can work. Online meetings can work. So we really thank you, members, for actually joining. Thank you for the platform. The moderators, I hope they can share audios. Yes, I did mention that we will share audios. Another member is commending the very good education content. Thank you very much, facilitators, for the content. It opens up one's mind. Another member says, thanks for the good teaching. I will increase my savings from now. And thank you very much, Jackson, for saying that. I hope you can encourage other members to do the same. Somebody else asked if you are blacklisted from flash loan. I think this is an issue where you will have to get in touch with a credit officer. And I believe that credit manager, sorry, excuse me, Malcolm. I believe that you're also answering some of these questions online. Any issues to do with loans and guarantors who have refused to pay? I believe, okay. Thank you, Jacinta, for this. They have, our facilitators have actually, our media facilitators have actually opened a live question media. So you can have, we can hear you on speakerphone if you have any questions. And I don't know how that will work, Rapella. You will unmute whoever puts up their hand. So if you want to ask a question on live speaker, please go to the icons where you can put your hand up, and then our IT officer will unmute one by one so that you can ask a question. Kindly limit your questions to one question so that if there are other members who would want to ask questions, they can do the same. Then let me go to other questions. Sorry, members, I'm going through the chat. Anything to do with guarantorship, anything to do with a blacklisted flash loan, sitting allowance is another issue. Bwana Chair, I think told us in the AGM that we are really trying to cost cut. And that was one of the reasons that we are holding this meeting virtually. We've literally saved over 60%, James? About 60%. We have saved, by holding this meeting virtually, we've saved about 50% of what we would regularly pay for an education day where we have members coming in person. So I think, members, you will commend us for that because you did ask us to cost cut. All right. There's a member who wants to call on WhatsApp if they're out of the country so that they can ask a question. I don't know, Rapella, if there's a number that can be facilitated for that. Sorry? or to go into the live chat, yeah? Okay, all right. So questions about guarantorship, I shall not answer at this point because they may be sensitive. They're also individual. So I encourage you members to contact the office. There's another commendation on good teaching. Simple questions. If you are blacklisted, that's another one. All right, there's a member who's asking if we can increase the repayment period for flash loans from 6 months to 12 months. That's again, we have really enhanced some of our products. We shall look into this if it's not already in process. Credit Committee Chair, I'm sure you have noted that. And once again, I do see a lot of volume issues, so we really apologize for the media if you were unable to hear us clearly. And then now I do see quite a number of suggestions on the housing Sacco. A lot of members would like it to remain at 10,000 and the entrance fee at 5,000. So this is an issue that can be discussed in the interim meeting that we will hold for the housing Sacco, whereby we will invite you members to come and share your thoughts and make decisions so that we can put this information in the bylaws for the housing Sacco. Okay, so that I think those are some of the questions that have come in that are quite important. So Rapella, are we ready for the live? In the meantime, I would just invite Duke. Duke, you have some comments?
All right.
Yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Janet, for the clarification and responding to some of the questions that our members have put across. On the cooperative housing that Mr. Njoroge has taken us through, some clarification to this. We have been spoken to about the entrance fee, share capital, and then the monthly contribution. For purposes of clarity, share capital, as Mr. Njoroge has rightly put it, this is to ensure that we've got capital adequacy, and it is a requirement. So share capital can be built over a period of time, such that if we say a figure of 10,000 or 20,000, you do not have to pay for it at once. You can build it over a period of time that we agree, say over a year. So you can be contributing monthly towards share capital and until you reach the threshold that we required under the bylaws. So do not worry, members, that the share capital is huge because you'll be given time to pay over the same. And on the other part of the entrance fee, I have seen a couple of comments, and thank you, members, for giving us these suggestions. We have a suggestion to make it 5,000 as entrance fee and capital share capital of 10,000. So I could propose members, now that it is clear that share capital you don't have to pay at once, we increase this to ensure that we have capital adequacy to say an amount of say 20,000 shillings or 25,000 shillings, but the entrance fee, since it is paid at once, we can lower that fee from what has been suggested of 5,000 to maybe 2,500. But capital adequacy is a requirement, and we need to increase that to a higher figure than 10,000 shillings. Thank you, and that is all I think on that I wanted to clarify. Some of the other suggestions that have been put across is that the existing officials of the Sacco be the interim officials of the COP housing. So I think we can take that as such, and I said this before, Mr. Njoroge, so that when the minutes come out and they come to the ministry, it is correctly captured as such. The other bit is I think one of our members has also made clarification in terms of the entrance fee for purposes of clarity. This one also helps us with the registration process costs. Remember, Mr. Njoroge did indicate that there is some fee that is paid to the ministry and also to the commissioner. So this one is meant to facilitate the registration process so that you understand what the entrance fee does. Thank you very much, Janet, and thank you, members. You can continue with the rest of the questions, but I'd received a request from our facilitators that we excuse them to leave. I take this opportunity to appreciate you. Thank you very much for the good presentation that you've done. And we look forward to work together in the future. Asanteni sana. Thank you.
Thank you, Duke. And are there any questions? Like we had just indicated shortly, are there any questions? Rapella, do we see anything in the chat or live questions? Anybody who wants to get on live? Rapella? No. Okay, members who are online, kindly, there's a react button. There are react buttons. You can either say thumbs up, or if you're satisfied with where we are at and everything that we have suggested. Go ahead.
All right, thank you, members. As we wait for your questions, I know most of your questions have come through in writing, and we've responded, and where we've not responded, we will act on your suggestions that you've so as we wait for that question, we'll take it, but remember, we had some suggestions that came through. One of them is to adopt the suggestion that the interim officials take up the officials of the Sacco, current officials, be the interim officials of the COP housing. So we require a proposer and a seconder. It can be anyone online or people who are over here. After we take that question that is online, we can cover that. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe, I think I saw in the chat that there was actually a proposer and a seconder, Duke, for the interim committee. There was, yes. There was a proposer and a seconder. So we'll take those as a proposer and a seconder for the current Concorde Sacco board to be the interim officials until the AGM of the Housing Cooperative Society. All right, Rapella, there's a live. Okay, can we have some volume for that? Go ahead. Whoever is live. Rosemary, I believe you're live. Rosemary, could you unmute? Because we can't hear you. You unmute yourself and then we can hear you. Rosemary? Can she hear us? Okay. Kindly write your question because we can't hear you live. Seeing there are no questions. Sure, absolutely. Please take a mic so that the members can hear you.
Thank you, Mr. Njoroge, for that clarification. I think it's a good idea. So my question is there any way Concorde Sacco can support the cooperative Sacco, especially at the beginning? Are they cooperative, the housing cooperative society? Can it get any support from Concorde Sacco? Number two, the housing Sacco will have a separate secretariat, or a few members from Concorde Sacco can support the housing secretariat?
You can come here and answer the questions in front of the members so that they can, whatever. Members, I hope you had that question. I think Mr. Njoroge will repeat it so that as he answers it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, member, for that question. It is in relation to how the Sacco can be able to assist the housing. You know, we usually consider that this housing, it is like your baby. It's a baby that have a mother, which is the Sacco. The same way a mother can support its a baby, it is almost the same. However much we consider that the Sacco and the housing are different, but it is the time that it is being born. How can you be able to assist it? And this is how even other societies, other Sacco societies do assist their housing cooperative societies in different ways. Because when it comes to, the second question was in relation to the employees. This housing does not have any office. It is within the Sacco. So it is within the same Sacco that the issues of housing can also be considered. So that maybe within the employees, someone can be maybe do something relating to the housing. So that assistance, office space, maybe the tables, the desks, you may not be having them. That key assistance is very important. However much the consideration of the finances may be different, because you may find that the finances that you may, the starting money that you can use in registration of this housing, most of them will come from the entrance fee. But the housing can, the Sacco can be able to have maybe a certain assistance which they can be able, if it is possible, through the budget. If there is somewhere that, you know, sometimes you find a Sacco have some finances like donations. So you may find in a budget kuna such a item in the budget. So which one can you be able to use to assist the housing? Because finances have to be accounted for. So when you assist in finances, which budgetary item maybe you can be able to use, so that maybe you can assist, but it is only at the starting point. But once the society is registered, it will start getting its own finances, or maybe even giving something to the housing, which may be deferrable if it is not in a position to, if the budget is not allowing that. So that is the starting help that you can give, but continuously, once it is registered, the office space, the secretariat, it can still be from the Sacco side. That is another assistance which will be very key. And also ensuring that it also, the governance structures are put in place. So those are the assistance which the Sacco can be able to do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Njoroge, for that. And let me ask another question before you sit down, so that it can be very clear to members from the very get-go. The members have given the mandate for the current Concorde Sacco board to be the interim board for the housing cooperative. Is it legal? Is it okay for the same members, once the AGM is held, to hold two positions in Concorde Sacco and in Concorde Cooperative? I think it's important for us to clarify that matter for the members to know that.
Okay, the Cooperative Societies Act provides that you cannot be a committee member in more than two cooperative societies. It therefore implies you can be a committee member in the Sacco and also in the housing. That is okay. However much when we come to the SASRA regulations, the Sacco Act and the regulations 2020, the regulations considers that you cannot be a board member of more than one cooperative societies which are regulated by SASRA. So you cannot be a committee member or a board member of Concorde, is it a non-withdrawable deposit-taking Sacco, and also be a board member in another non-withdrawable deposit-taking Sacco. Remember, the Cooperative Societies Act says it's okay to not more than two. But now the Sacco Act and the regulation says the societies which are regulated by SASRA. So it therefore implies you can be in the Concorde Sacco and also in the Concorde housing, if that will be the name, but because it is at the initial stages, once the society is properly established, then you can be able to detach from the Sacco, I mean the housing and the Sacco, so that now we can have different committees or different boards. But this, it can only be at the initial stages. You can have that as an internal arrangement because of ensuring the proper governance of the cooperatives.
Thank you so much for that clarification. So members, you've heard for yourselves. We have a question from the presentation of Timothy. Said that guarantors are also severely liable on the loans. Can it be clarified to members on the maximum liability when other guarantors are demised? The presenter said it moves to the remaining guarantors. James, do you have an immediate answer to that, or shall we defer that to a later stage? Or Mr. Njoroge, if you can help us with that. Sorry? Can I read it again? From the presentation, Timothy said that the guarantors are also severely liable on the loans. Can it be clarified to members on the maximum liability when other guarantors die or are demised? I suppose the member meant on the demise of a guarantor. The presenter said it moves to the remaining guarantors.
So this is in relation to the guarantorship, that a loanee wants to take a loan and gets 3-4 guarantors. When there is a change of guarantorship, the consideration is if some of the guarantors dies. But watakufa wote pamoja. Because when there is a change in the guarantorship, we are expected to have, if for example, one of the guarantors have maybe died, the loanee is expected to have a change of guarantors to get another guarantor to replace the one who have left. Because even if someone wants to withdraw as a guarantor, you know, to be a guarantor doesn't imply that you cannot withdraw until when the entire loan is repaid. Whoever you have guaranteed will be requested to get an alternative guarantor so that you can be replaced. The same should happen if there is a demise of one guarantor. We need to have a replacement of the guarantor so that the remaining 3 or 2 guarantors, they don't carry the entire burden. However, when you are guaranteeing, there is that guarantorship statement. You are jointly and severally liable. It therefore implies, ukibaki peke yako, you carry the burden because there is jointly and severally liable. So that is why the issue of getting alternative guarantors, if there is any change, either ameaga, anataka withdraw, let us replace to ensure that haubaki peke yako ama hamubaki wawili. But you are jointly and severally liable. You can still carry the entire burden as one guarantor. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Njoroge, for that clarification. I am told that there are more questions from members. One of the questions is, please confirm that any assistance to the housing Sacco should be refundable because these are funds for the savings and credit Sacco. I believe this should also be agreed upon in an AGM. That's correct, yeah? Yes. So yes, whoever member, whichever member that is that has asked that question, you're correct that if the Sacco, the current Sacco society, which is Concorde, lends money to the housing cooperative, it will be refunded because this is members' money that they will use for credit and loans. All right. Any other question? Go ahead, Duke.
All right, Janet, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Njoroge, for those responses. There was one question regarding the clarity from Rosemary. I think that is the question she wanted to ask in respect to when a member dies, and or rather, we can use the appropriate word. They said the demise of the member was taken alone. The amounts charged to the guarantors, they are not charged to the guarantors. We've got a product insurance product that takes care of that. And I think, Janet, you've made arrangements for discussion around that subject. So that is for clarity purposes. And be rest assured, if there is a demise of a person who has taken a loan, that money is paid by the insurance product that we've secured. Thank you.
Thank you, Duke, for that. There's also a leading question to that. I will ask the lady from Pioneer to kindly come so that we can save on time. Since the loans are insured, can the insurance cover part of the loan of the deceased guarantor? So we will hear from, sorry, I didn't get your name. This was not planned. She actually just showed up, which is a great thing. And members, she has also given us a contribution of 10,000 shillings from Pioneer Insurance, who is the insurance company that insures our loans. So I believe your name is? Jerry Kenyanjui is going to tell us a little bit. We'll just give you 5 minutes, and maybe you can answer that question that the member has asked, if you can take over, if somebody, whatever, when there's a demise of a member.
All right, thanks. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible. So Njeri Kinyanjui again is my name. Thank you very much for allowing me the time. And I will first answer the question on a guarantor's amount when they are demised. And that is that we will be able to pay for that amount, which is insured already with us. So that is, sorry, the amount is for the guarantor or for?
For the guarantor, if somebody passes on.
Their share on the?
Insurance can pay on their behalf for that.
The bit that they have guaranteed. No, that is not payable. It's not, because we are supposed to get another member or someone else to be able to plug in and be able to guarantee for that. I thought you're talking about their own loan. That is actually, their own loan is payable. But this bit for guarantee, you actually get another guarantor. So very quickly, because I have 5 minutes to myself, I will, like I said, my name is Njeri Kinyanjui. I work for a very good company called Pioneer Insurance, and we are located on Moi Avenue, Pioneer House. We are on 3rd, 6th, and 7th floor. And we have quite a number of branches across the country, about 50 of them. And that's who we are in a nutshell. So very quickly, I will talk about what we have covered, and that is on death of a member, we are able to pay the full loan that is actually left behind by the member who has passed on. And also the other thing that we cover is critical illness. That is in case a member within that term of the loan is diagnosed with a critical illness, that is like cancer, we're able to come in and pay 30% of their loan, so that it can either help their loan, which is maybe they are struggling to repay, or be able to be given to them depending on what the Sacco has in agreement with the member. So the other thing is that we have on this cover is a last expense element. And this cover is for the principal member, who is the member of the Sacco. So we are able to give an amount as the member is being buried, so that it can assist with any arrangement to be able to send off the member. The other thing I will mention is total disability. In case a member is totally disabled, we are able to also give 100%. And this is done by help of a medical practitioner who is able to ascertain that this member cannot be able to pay their loan or sustain what they are able to do initially. That is in terms of their work. And that essentially in a nutshell is what we have covered. And we have practices or what we are able to do with the Sacco, the completing of the forms when a member is deceased, so that we are able to pay for that. I'll also mention in these few minutes that we also have other products. I remember the presenters who are here before me did me a lot of justice, because they mentioned that you don't only save with Sacco. Sacco is a very good platform for all of us, because I'm also a member of a Sacco. But also it's good to take care of your risks by having insurance, because insurance takes care of your risks so that you do not lose out on the money that you've been able to save over a certain period of time. For example, if someone is sick, I know there's medical, but sometimes medical also has a limit, and it can also give you a setback. If you are a business person or whatever it is, even if you're employed, so that you're able to cushion that, you need to expand your net in terms of your savings. So we have also individual products that we can be able to share through the Sacco, and you can also plug in into everything else that you're able to offer in the company. We also have a general line of business that is motor, fire, burglary, and all that. We're able to share that through the Sacco because they are good partners, and that's why we cannot really miss out when they call us in such places. So thank you very much for the time, and thank you for allowing me these minutes. If there are any queries, I want to believe that we'll be able to answer as we go along, or of course through the Sacco. Thank you so much.
Asante Jerry, just one question that came up. If I lose my job, am I covered for that under Concorde Sacco as a member through Pioneer? If I lose my job and I have a loan, am I covered? Will you be able to pay off my loan if I lose my job or if I'm retrenched?
Okay, we do not have a retrenchment benefit on this particular cover that we're offering now, but that's a good idea. And we can actually have something like that once we are negotiating the renewal. Now that it has come up through the members, I believe we can be able to discuss that and see how we can give that benefit. Because it's something that we have, especially for the banks. They have a retrenchment for about 6 months. You can have some amount coming to you as a person who has lost a job. So we can look at that. Yes.
Thank you. Don't go away, Jerry. There's another question. If a loanee was a defaulter before his demise, will the insurance still clear that loan upon demise, or will it still be the responsibility of the guarantors?
If the member had defaulted, okay, we do not pay for default. We only pay up to, we do amortization up to a certain amount of the loan. So we'll calculate as though the member was already paying. So we'll pay the difference and not the defaulted amount. Yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that clarity. Members, I hope those who've asked those questions are satisfied with that. Yeah, so there's a similar question. Sheila, you've asked a similar question. Celestine, Terry, thank you for your questions. Yes, I think that will be it from the insurance point of view. Members, if you have any other questions, please don't limit yourself to just today. Kindly, there's our email, our WhatsApp chat. Kindly just continue asking those questions to the Secretariat. We as board members are continually receiving those questions also that you continually ask, and we will endeavor to answer all of them to your satisfaction. So we're coming to the end of our Education Day. Thank you very much, members, for engaging us and for coming online and for actually allowing us to meet our objective of saving costs for this day. So I will invite Fred, one of our board members, to come and give us a vote of thanks. And then I shall invite Remik Muga, who is our Credit and Risk Committee Chair, to come and give us our closing prayer. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Janet, Chair of the Education Committee and Vice Chair of Concorde Sacco, asante sana. Mine is simple, basically to give a vote of thanks, and I start by giving a vote of thanks to the members. I've seen members joining from Doha. I've seen a few members joining from Kuwait. I've also seen one member joining from Baghdad. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for using your money in terms of connectivity. Asanteni sana. This is the way to go. This is the technology that we have. Asanteni sana. I cannot congratulate you more. Asante sana. Secondly, I want to congratulate Mr. Njoroge for your time and the education you have given us. Asante sana for giving us info around housing cooperative. I think we are now more informed and the way forward and how to go about it going forward. Asante sana. The presenters have left, but thank you so much. I think what I need to say about the presenters is they have given us information. It is up to us to make a decision to follow what they have advised us to do. Savings, investments, retirement, all those, the decision is ours. I pick one word, lion's share. Lion's share, very important. Don't be the killer and then you eat the leftovers. If you kill, eat the lion's share. I also want to appreciate our staff. Very important. Thomas, CEO, Malcolm, and everyone else involved in making this a success. Asanteni sana. Thank you so very much. And also our internet guys, asanteni sana. You've done a good job. We had a small hitch, but thank you so much. What is the word? The media people, asanteni sana. You've made it a success. Finally, is the board members, asanteni sana. Chairman, Duke Mayaka, Janet, Florence, Remik, and Patricia, asanteni sana. Thank you so very much. Thank you for your time. And thank you for gracing the day. Asante sana. Remik, asante, welcome to guide us to the Lord.
Thank you so much. I would just request that we be upstanding for a word of prayer. Let us pray. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, before thy presence this evening, we want to thank you because your presence has been with us, dear God. We want to worship you because of giving us such a wonderful opportunity that we've been able, God, to listen and get educated, King of our glory. And we are leaving this place different people, King of our glory. We want to worship you because of our Sacco, because of the opportunity that you've given us to serve in different capacities, dear Lord. We want to dedicate our Sacco before your presence, that whatever you've learned today as members, Jehovah Father, that you may help us to put it into practice. We dedicate ourselves before your presence and pray that you may protect us from anything that the devil may steal from us. As we are about to depart with us and bless our Sacco. In Jesus' name we do pray and believe. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, members. You are dismissed until the next meeting. We shall let you know when we are doing the pre-cooperative meeting in advance. Thank you, members. Good night.